Boys in the back. Boys in the back.
What is good? We are back with another episode of The Boys in the Back. It is a brisk day here in New York City. I'd like to call it dangerously cold, Rick. This is like, it's so cold that I'm glad that I was born in this time where we have heat and like people to take care of you and blankets and jackets and everything like that. If I was alive 1,000 years ago, end of the life for me. It's just too cold. I couldn't survive.
You're definitely showing your Atlanta right now. Your Atlanta is showing as a little.
It's pretty cold in Atlanta right now too. I'm really showing my Atlanta. Got the sweater on. That's what we call it down south. The sweater. Shout out to the Thrashers. Still alive in my heart, baby. Still alive in my heart. Yeah, it's cold out there though.
It is cold, but it's just New York winter. We're good. We'll make it through. You'll survive.
New York winter.
Admittedly, Rick, it's been colder this year than it has been in the last few years. Am I not?
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, we've gotten a few snow days, but like I remember when I was a kid, we used to be having snow all the time. Like I haven't had to take out my snowblower in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Like we're good. Don't worry about it.
No snowblower this past weekend?
Nah.
Like 4 to 5 inches.
Nah, it was nothing. Light work.
Sheesh. I mean, you get in the subway and it's all like white from all like the snow getting tracked in and stepped on. And
this is just soft behavior. This is Atlanta stuff right here.
All right. Well, I guess I thought it was cold. I guess it's not actually cold outside. New episode of Boys in the Back. I am Connor Burks alongside, him, my co-host, NewYorkRic. No UFC this weekend.
No.
But that doesn't mean that we do not have combat sports.
That's right.
We've got KnuckleMania 5 taking place just down the road, just down the highway in Philadelphia. A PFL Road to Dubai Champions Series, I believe, is the name.
Yeah, Championship Series.
Really, that card for me it's a one-fight card.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's deep, but it's Paul Hughes and Usman Nurmagomedov. There really isn't much beyond that I'm interested in. So, no UFC card, but still a nice offering in the world of combat sports.
Yeah, a little bit of something for everybody.
And we will be there. Not just me, not just NewYorkRic, but Frankie as well. We will be in attendance at KnuckleMania 5 in Philadelphia. And personally, I cannot wait. I am super excited. I don't know what to expect when it comes to going to a bare knuckle fight in person.
I have also never been to bare knuckle in person, but from what I've heard from people, shout out to Mike Heck, our former colleague at MMAfighting.com. He has always said this to me, that in person at these events, it is a raucous crowd. It's unlike anything you've ever been to. It's incomparable to any of the other combat sports. So I'm expecting something pretty spectacular, at least in terms of energy and vibes. And then if the knockouts are starting to roll throughout the night, I feel like it's going to get crazy in there.
Energy, vibes. We're going to be in Philadelphia, who's known for having raucous crowds. And
that's right.
It's going to be, I think, a sold-out Wells Fargo Arena that holds like 17,000, 18,000 people in it.
So I actually think it's like 21
What?
when it's scaled for basketball. Maybe it's going to be different, depending on how they've had it set up.
I guess they add seats on the floor and everything. Either way, it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. And I absolutely can't wait. And I love that they've stacked the card. I don't know if you've looked at it.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez up at the top in the main event, the draw, the A side from Philadelphia. Obviously, all the fans are going to be going crazy for him. But then BKFC did it smart. David Feldman did it smart and stacked the prelims, the undercard. It's all just one card, but like the early fights of the night with guys from the area. So you got friends, family, just people that are going to be blindly supporting local guys. I really think it's going to make for a great atmosphere.
It's music to ArielHelwani's ears. He's long advocated for this. He talked about how Scott Coker and Strikeforce and a lot of other promotions have kind of fed the local audience and then they can get exposed to the big headliners. The fortunate thing for BKFC is the biggest name is the one at the top of the card. The Philly guy, Eddie Alvarez, is at the top. So that by the time that rolls around, there's going to be a lot of beer consumed, and there's going to be a lot of people who are excited to watch Eddie fight.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on like the actual experience itself, it's a 10-fight card. It starts at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And I can't imagine this thing's going to go till like 2 or 3. So I feel like...
I bet it will.
I'm actually down for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I'm going wherever the wind takes me on Saturday night. I'll tell you that much. But I imagine the pacing is going to be great. I feel like we're not going to be sitting for packages, waiting a long time in between fights. I feel like they're going to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, and it's just a faster kind of product in general, right? There's not a lot of the kind of storytelling that you have to do in the boxing or in the MMA. Like people are just there to see some knockouts, some quick fights, and I think BKFC has been good at delivering that.
All right, so the main event, we talked about it, Eddie Alvarez versus Jeremy Stephens. We've seen both these guys fight bare knuckle before, and I just can't imagine that this isn't going to be a war.
No, these two are the guys you like. There's a type of fighter that you say to yourself, like, yeah, those guys would be great in bare knuckle. I'd say more so I feel that way about Stephens, but the late career Eddie Alvarez has just kind of been a dog, kind of been a scrapper. You have to imagine in his hometown he's going to show out. So I'm excited about that. Stephens, as I said, is a type of guy that I think, like, yeah, that's a dude who's going to stand in the middle and trade and be a bare knuckle type fighter. Mike Perry, the face of the promotion, is somebody who I think of in that vein as well. So I'm expecting a really good battle.
And there actually seems to be like some vitriol between them.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Alvarez, obviously a champion in the UFC, talking to Jeremy Stephens, who actually had a losing record in the UFC. I think he was 15-18 while he was in the UFC. And Eddie Alvarez, during one of their face-offs, is kind of just getting at him, just like, you're never going to beat a champion. You're never going to be a champion. Like, you just don't belong here. You don't even belong in the ring.
You're not on my level.
Like, there is some vitriol. He's saying it right here. But then Jeremy Stephens, I want to play this because we talked about how Philadelphia raucous crowds. They are known to go at people, to go at fans of opposing teams.
They booed Santa.
They booed Santa. I think they threw batteries at Santa.
Even worse,
I think that's like the famous thing.
Jesus.
They've been known for raucous crowds, fans that are very intense. But Jeremy Stephens goes to the press conference and has this to say about the city of brotherly love.
Yeah. Jeremy, you have made...
Hello? A war with Mike Perry? You got his face caved in by the second round and he quit. It's just like Philly. It's a great place, right? But you guys are runners up. You're second best. You guys will always will be. The thing that's going to be different January 25th is we're going to find out what I already know.
Starling,
I'm the baddest motherfucker in the bare knuckle right now.
Who the fuck is that guy?
And he's going to find out what I already know and certain of.
Eddie, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that.
Runners up. Philly, you're always runners up. Second best. You guys fucking blow it every time. Your sports is fucking disgusting.
Go back to your fucking...
Your boy's going to get fucked up.
Go back. Go back.
Easy, Stallion.
That's the wrong approach,
Somebody else
man.
from
Got
Philly
the wrong crowd here,
That's
my
the
man.
wrong. That's the wrong approach. He came here with a mohawk and a pair of sunglasses, and he just don't fit in. In Philadelphia, humble yourself. This city has a weird way of humbling people. Whether it's they find someone to humble you, or they humble you themselves. But come to January 25th, I'm glad that I'm that guy that gets to do that. This guy came here with a mohawk, pair of sunglasses, looks like a dickhead, saying something about Philadelphia.
Wait.
He's coming when you get your face caved in again, big dog. Keep running that mouth. I already know I ain't gonna be here to be fucking liked or loved, so I already know you guys fucking hate me, so fuck you. I'm gonna smash your fucking boy.
We all gotta leave today, my man.
Victorious.
We all gotta leave out that front door. Watch your mouth.
I came by myself, bro. I'm a fucking monster. I didn't show up with a gang.
Bring that shit.
God, I love everything about that. There's so many things. Him being like, you guys are runners up. I mean, we've seen with the Eagles, with the Phillies, the Sixers never being able to make a deep run in the playoffs. Like, he's just like, you guys are always runners up. You never get it done. You're not going to get it done, blah, blah, blah. Talking all this shit, going directly at the city of Philadelphia. And then Eddie on the other side is just like, this motherfucker, he doesn't know anything about Philly. He came in with a mohawk and some sunglasses. Yeah, we don't like you either. And then Jeremy just digging that much deeper into the grave, just being like, y'all already hate me, so fuck you. It's just so good.
And also the guy in the front who I assume is also from Philly, like, you're in the wrong spot, bro. Like, and then Jeremy being like, I'm a fucking gangster. Like, you're not gonna do shit to me.
Yeah, he's like, we all gotta leave here today. And he's just like, all right, yeah, I'll walk right out the front door. I don't have anyone with me. I'm a monster. So yeah, like
it's great.
They're building it up great. And like, not only are they showing sort of like, I guess, disrespect, but like a vitriol between each other. They're making it really like they have bad blood, but also Jeremy doing this excellent job of getting the crowd involved. Like, I really think by the time midnight, 1 a.m., whenever they're making their walk to the rings, that place is going to be on fire for Eddie Alvarez. Obviously, just the boos are going to be raining down on Jeremy Stephens.
I know we talked about like maybe them not slowing it down and showing, but they should show some of the anti-Philly shit in the crowd.
Dude, play that over the Jumbotron when Jeremy, like 5 minutes before Jeremy Stephens is about to walk, and I'm going to be in there just like, boo! Get out of our city! It's going to be amazing, man. And then the fact that they're going in to fight bare knuckle, that just changes everything. Like, it literally is just different.
It's more visceral. It just feels more of a fight. And so I really like the angles they've chosen. I like that the Eddie Alvarez angle on this is like, I'm a peer, right? My career looks like this, and your career looks like this, because that's the truth, right? Like Jeremy Stephens was a fantastic action fighter for the UFC, but he wasn't a championship caliber fighter. So that's what you pick on if you're Eddie Alvarez. And I like for Jeremy is like, you're from a low rent second place town, like you're just from here, and this place is not good enough. It's great. Like I love the dynamic between the two. I think it's going to make for a great scrap. And in reality, like, the accolades don't kind of matter, and we see that with bare knuckle, right? Mike Perry is the king of bare knuckle. You wouldn't say like, oh, he was the champ, right? He was not the champ of the UFC. He's not the greatest MMA fighter that ever was. So I'm not sure this idea that like Eddie has these accolades and Jeremy has these accolades is going to come into play in the fight, but I like it as an angle to like press and needle Jeremy Stephens.
Well, that's sort of the thing about BKFC is like they're building this incredible product. They're different in the sense that it's bare knuckle. That's where they, have the dividing line between them and the UFC and everything. It's bare knuckle, and it's just it's almost becomes an entirely different sport. Like we've seen some guys from the UFC go like Luke Rockhold, and like he gets his tooth knocked out, and he's like, I'm done. It's just like some people just aren't built for it. Like it is literally just a different sport. But the thing about it that I find interesting that it like brings us in, like especially like the Mike Perry fights and everything, it brings us in, draws us in, makes us want to fight it, even though there aren't really like stakes involved. Like there's no belt on the line in this one. There's no like, I mean, Eddie Alvarez is 40, Jeremy Stephens is 38. It's not like they're making a career resurgence or anything, but it's just a great fight. And like, that's all I want to see.
Yeah, you don't have to focus on the other stuff, on whether this is going to lead to a title shot or who's next in the rankings and this, that. Now, granted, they do have rankings and things like that, and there are like stakes within the BKFC, but for the outside fan, the person who's checking in less frequently and irregularly like me, right? Like I don't watch every single BKFC event, but I'll check in when the bigger names are fighting. You can just watch a great fight. You sign up the guys who people want to see fight, and it works. And that's been the Mike Perry kind of secret sauce, right? Is like the reason this is all working is because one, Mike Perry's a crazy person, and two, he's somebody you want to watch fight. It doesn't matter if there are stakes attached. And so naturally, this one has those makings. It feels like something that the eyes of the MMA world might want to tune into.
I mean, I can't wait for it. Last thing I have to say about the Jeremy Stephens, like he's making Philly be like a low rent city, and he's like born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa, which is just like, I feel like that is right on that line of just like the second rate cities in America.
I like that more.
It's so good. Do we have a prediction from one NewYorkRic?
Yeah, I feel like just because I feel like Eddie's kind of gotten some reps here and been in a war with like Chad Mendes, like I tend to favor Eddie. Like he's just been fighting like a really long time and been at the highest level. But as I said, like in my own breakdown, it doesn't really matter. Once you take off the gloves, once you step in there and take off the gloves, it's kind of its own different beast. I don't know. I lean toward Eddie just because I'm using my MMA brain to assess it, and I don't really know. But I guess I'd lean Eddie.
I think I'm just going to be going for Eddie just because we're going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of want to just be on the crowd side and just, like, have fun with it. Like, nothing against Jeremy Stephens at all.
No,
Like,
not at all. We're excited for that.
Yeah, I actually think he's done, like, a fantastic job of, like, getting me hyped up for it. But, yeah, I think once we're in the arena, I'm just like, yeah, let's go ahead.
But
let's see what happens.
Wouldn't it be sick for Jeremy to knock him out and just be on the
double birds out to everyone.
enemy territory?
Gets on the mic, just, oh, yeah, here's a face-off of them in front of the Rocky statue. Yeah, man, I got to get a KnuckleMania shirt. That is on my must-buy list when I'm there.
They've done a good job, and they've done a good job branding the KnuckleMania thing, too. Like, over the years, it's kind of been something where you know that they are saying, this is a product that we want you to watch. This is our premium version of BKFC. There's going to be some names that you're going to recognize, and we want you to tune in. And so I think this is another one. I think the MMA world, the combat world, they picked a great time with the UFC not having an event to kind of pull this off.
Great fight in the main event. The co-main event, I said, like, not a ton of stakes. BKFC heavyweight title on the line.
Yeah.
We got Big Ben Rothwell, former UFC fighter, going up against Mick Terrell from the UK, who is a terrifying-looking dude. He is currently the heavyweight champion in BKFC. 6'4", tatted up, giant man, and like when he's got the hand wraps on, he's just a scary-looking dude. This is just another one where it's just like two giant dudes who are going to get in there, and I cannot imagine. It's slated for 5 2-minute rounds. I cannot imagine this thing goes 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you kind of expect the knockouts with BKFC, so you put the heavyweights in there. For what it's worth, I do remember there was the Lorenzo Hunt and Mick Terrell was the last fight that I remember like kind of getting excited and tuning in for. And I do remember him being very reserved. So even though he looks like a absolute monster, I actually think he's very like calm, soft-spoken kind of guy.
Ben Rothwell will not be reserved. I hope we get a great walkout from him. I hope he gets the crowd.
He's always
hyped
fascinating.
And then I feel like I feel like he's going to have the freedom, the creative freedom, like since leaving the UFC. Like, I feel like he's really going to be able to do something fun for the walkout, get the crowd hyped. But yeah, I mean, heavyweights and bare knuckle. How can you not be excited?
It's KnuckleMania, baby.
One last one I wanted to talk about. It's the third fight down on the card. Bec Rawlings taking on Taylor Starling. Rawlings obviously fought in the UFC before. Yeah. And if you don't know Starling, she is like the infamous meme of the girl bare knuckle. I think we have the picture of it, but where it's just like her face. Yeah.
Yes.
Just like, if you're gonna say anything about Taylor Starling, she's tough. Yeah, she's tough as nails. I mean, that is insane to go through a war like that.
Well, I think one of the things you can say about anybody who's fighting in BKFC is you're tough. Like, the as you said earlier, the willingness to just sign up for this, you have to be different, right? Yeah. As we saw, Luke Rockhold signed up for this. Like, that's not the place that he probably is most suited to. Whereas you go like somebody like Mike Perry, somebody like Jeremy Stevens, like this is probably where they belong.
Yeah. I mean, just to even sign your name on the dotted line. Yeah, you to get into the ring, not just the fight itself. Like you really do just have to be built different. So I mean, that one should be fun as well. If they get into a war, I think it's going to be great. And then you just got guys just like Sewell, New Jersey, right across the way, Carlisle, PA, Philadelphia, PA, Philly, PA, Coatesville, PA. Just a lot of local dudes. Perfect. That I think the crowd is just going to get hyped for.
Yeah, they're the ones filling the arena with their family and friends. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be crazy, man. I actually can't believe we're going. Kind of just
excited.
Spurned as an idea of just like, should we go? And then it was like, yeah, you know what? I booked my train ticket. We're going. Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. But before we go into Wells Fargo, we're going to get to spend the day in Philly, see what's good down there. We're going to try some cheesesteaks. I believe
This has been like long debated. We've kind of been like trying to whittle down the list. Everybody has a different thing. Nah, you got to go to this one. You got to go to this one. But it's actually 40 minutes across town this way. We've had to like really like lock in and hone in. Do we have a final list?
We have a final list. I'm happy to report, but also sad to report because some people did have to get cut from it. Saved it somewhere in my notes app. Here we go. Steve's, unfortunately, got the cut. The one in the city center has closed down. Sean Brady recommended it, or Cam Op recommended it. Several people have recommended Steve's, but the one in city center, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has closed down. And so the closest one is like 30, 40 minutes out.
If we have bad info and there's a Steve's that's local,
you let us know.
DM me or Connor. And
Google says it's closed, and their website is updated to where it's not on it anymore. It is a shame. D'Alessandro's, we're going. I polled a lot of I used to work with a ton of Philly people, polled all of them, and I was like, give me your top 3 spots. Almost all of them had D'Alessandro's on there. I feel like it's like that's like the lower key tourist one. Okay. I feel like it's like Pat and Gino's, and then step below that is like D'Alessandro's.
Even I think there's one John's that's also like a touristy one. Yeah.
So D'Alessandro's is one. Angelo's, which comes highly recommended by a lot of people. You've had it before. You have had it before.
It's elite.
Action Bronson recommends it. I was actually on their website last night, and then
say no more.
Picture of Action Bronson pops up. I was like, oh, Bam Bam, what's good, man? So Angelo's comes highly recommended, and word on the street is it's actually called Angelo's Pizzeria. Yeah. Word on the street is the pizza's even better. So might have to grab a slice.
Okay. Those fighting words.
Oh, you say fighting words, Frank. You say no pizza.
We're coming from New York. The pizza, it remains to be seen.
I respect it, Frank. You're protecting our territory.
Sneaky hot take. Connecticut pizza better than New York.
No. No. This is different. Yeah. This is I don't want to do this whole debate. We'll do it another time.
All right, so we're at D'Alessandro's, Angelo's, Shay's, which comes recommended from Ariel, and also the Google reviews are just through the roof. Yeah. It's like 1,500, 4.9 stars. Shay's, that's a new kid on the block. I watched a couple videos of it yesterday. It looks unbelievable. And then one that jumped in at the last minute, but it's near where the guys will be fighting at Wells Fargo, John Roast Pork. Okay. Yeah, a few people recommended this.
So is it a pork sandwich, or do they also do the cheesesteak and pork is just like their main, like Angelo's pizza? Is it that?
No, they also do the cheesesteak.
Okay, got it.
Home of the ultimate cheesesteak.
And so what's the pork, though? I'm kind of intrigued by that as well. Do they
That's-
have like a pork specialty sandwich?
Home of the ultimate cheesesteak and world famous Italian roast pork sandwich.
I mean, I could be convinced to get both of those.
The ultimate cheesesteak. I like they say ultimate cheesesteak like every other few words,
branding.
and I just can't seem to find like what makes it the ultimate.
Their assessment of it is that it's the ultimate.
I guess we're just gonna have to find.
We're gonna have to find out for ourselves if it's the ultimate.
All right, so those are the 4.
Okay, but what are we? Okay, so now we're gonna try these 4. What are we doing? Is there like a power ranking next week? Like, how do we manifest?
I think I'll power rank within the video because
Okay,
we're gonna
so
do a
end
fight
of video. We'll do it.
with the power ranking.
Perfect.
On top of that, we got to go to Rocky's, the statue and the steps.
Yep.
Got to run up the steps.
Yep.
Gotta get locked in.
Locked in for what?
Locked in. It's training camp. I'm in training camp right now.
Oh.
Sean Brady. If you didn't see it, actually, Philadelphia's own Sean Brady yesterday. We did our bike segment. I again dusted you. It was easy work. And then I called out Sean Brady, and I guess Ariel behind the scenes knew that I was going to do that because I called him out last time, and he had Sean Brady standing by waiting. Here's the official call out of the number 5 welterweight in the world.
I got one name on my mind, baby.
Oh. Gassed.
I said it last time. I'm going to say it again.
Oh.
I don't need to be racing against dads, racing against bums out here. It's over between me and Rick.
Wow.
I need a name on my resume that people are going to respect. No one respects me beating New York Rick. I want a real athlete, the king of the PI. Still an easy ride for me.
Wow.
I'm the fastest 2 men on wheels, baby.
That's bad.
You know what it is, though.
Fast.
John Brady.
Wow.
Whenever you're ready, baby. Whenever you're ready, I'm waiting right here. Short drive over from Philly. Come get this work right here.
Come get this work
right now. You set the date.
Wow. Call out to Sean Brady, UFC welterweight contender, one of the best fighters on the planet. You say you whoop his ass.
Damn.
Easy work.
Promo.
Yeah, he's a pro fighter. He'd break me in half in the cage. I'm a pro peddler, baby.
Wow.
I'm the fastest man on 2 wheels whenever he's ready.
I can't lie. I'd be interested to see it because
I was excited
I'm
here.
shitting the bed right now.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
You think Brady, because there's a lot at stake for Brady, you think he would take the risk of losing to a pedestrian?
He's the king of the PI. I see him.
trying
I
to
see him
just
in there
pull
with
it
the bikes, with the fans, the assault bikes. He's killing it with Joe Piper and everyone. Yada yada yada.
Wow.
When he wants to come for the king, I'm ready.
Them's fighting words. I love this
All
shit.
right, I'm gonna move aside and let him do it.
Those
then.
fighting
I'm done.
words.
Look, I love everything about it. I'm not sure if you are biting off a little more than you could chew. Sean Brady, one of the best athletes on the planet. But I love everything about it. I love the gusto. I love the machismo. I just wish you could say this to Sean Brady. I wish he could actually be here to defend himself. I wish you could say this to his face.
Call him up.
Let's have him on the next show.
Sean, what do you think?
Oh!
Big shot.
Oh, there he is!
Big shot in the house.
Oh!
Yeah!
Sign the contract, Brady.
Kick his
Sign
ass,
the
Brady.
contract.
Listen, man, I got Eddie Alvarez's shirt on. Eddie's gonna dog Jeremy Saturday. I'm pulling up to New York next month, and I'm gonna dog you in your studio.
Let's go, Sean. Let's
I'm
go.
gonna get some revenge for Rick. I'm gonna get some revenge for
my guy.
all the average Joes out there, and I'm gonna have to put you to bed.
Wow.
A little bit of a shot at you being like, I'm going to get revenge for Rick. I'm going to get revenge for all the average Joes out there.
First of all, I am an average Joe. Second of all, he did way less shitting on me than you did, so that's okay. I'm still gonna accept Brady operating on my behalf.
Yeah, man. So to be totally honest, I got to get ingrained in the city of Philadelphia. I got to learn the ways of Sean Brady. I got to taste the cheesesteaks, find out what he grew up on, get inside the mind of Sean Brady. Oh, we have odds now, actually, courtesy of our friends over at DK. They say Sean Brady minus 520, Conor Burks plus 350. Value on the plus 350. Tour Day uncrowned.
I do like that he corrected fastest man on 2 wheels.
All right, so I did say later in it, I got it right, fastest 2 men on wheels. Yes, I botched that. Someone had an amazing comment on Instagram, and they were like, fastest man, what did I say? Fastest 2 man on wheels. And someone was like, that's Tito level trash talk right there. I was like, God damn, give me a break, man. Give me a break. Yeah, I was getting cooked for that one. I was so tired. I was gassed out.
To be gassed out, cut that great promo, then have to react in real time to the Sean Brady surprise, you did damn well.
I got a new respect for the fighters who just went through 5-round wars, and then they're like, "Hey, let me ask you a bunch of questions on the mic." I got a new respect for them.
Were you thinking about going into that promo on Brady, or was it off the cuff?
I knew I was gonna win. It was just like I was walking in like a minus 5,000.
You talk about Brady shitting on me. I mean, it's just like.
I knew I was going to win, especially because you went first, so you set the number.
Yeah.
I knew that
you
was
knew you
just
could
like,
hit that number.
Once I knew the number I needed to hit, I knew I was going to win. So I was just like, all right, I got to start getting in my head who I'm going to call out after this because this rivalry is done. It's put to bed.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd keep banging the drum for Big Sean Brady, king of the PI.
How about Ariel? The anticipation.
It was good on his part.
To perfection.
It was also great on Sean Brady's part.
Sean Brady,
having fun.
I feel like every time we post one of these clips, Brady's like, I want it. So clearly, like, there was enough of a story there that it all came together. So shout out to everybody involved.
Yeah, so
it's going to be great.
We're getting deep in Philadelphia, learning the ways of Brady.
Are we going to see Sean Brady in Philly? That's the thing.
Absolutely. He's going to be at BKFC. That's where we're going to officially sign the contracts, get our first face-off, get everything in the books. And I hope we'll officially get a date. I need a date in my mind that I can just keep saying to myself to get ready for this.
Yeah, we'll have to see with Sean. We'll look.
I need a date to put on my tombstone that I'm going to pre-purchase because I'm ready to die on the bike. He was like,
he said, strap him in. He wants you to be strapped in so you don't faint off the bike.
That's what he said. He was like, I started seeing black in the corners of my eyes when I broke the PI record. He was like, so you better peg in because I'm ready to go till I pass out. I'm like, I'm right there with you.
God damn, Brady's a fucking savage, man. I will play promoter here. I will worry about the contracts. We'll get the dates locked in. We'll get the paper signed. And you'll be on the Averon bike. You versus Brady right here in studio.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. And then hopefully we'll get a great Sean Brady interview afterward.
I don't know. I mean,
from the loser, Sean Brady. He might actually leave the studio. We might actually have him booked for an interview. And then after I beat him, he's just going to leave because he's a sore loser.
We'll see about the interview. I feel like maybe we do the interview on the front because the 3 minutes that you guys are going to lock in on this are going to be
interview on the front end, and then we do it on the back end.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But shout out to Brady for being a good sport and you for being a savage on the bike. I can't compete. We need Brady.
We need Brady, and we need a date. By the end of this weekend, we need to have a date locked in.
All right, let's try.
Can't wait for that one. Cheesesteaks, Rocky Steps, Statue, Face Off with Brady, KnuckleMania 5.
Some Yinglings.
Some Yinglings, baby! Shout out, Philly, PA.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it a Philly day. It's I'm very excited about it. It's not often. When I was working in social, I had like no days that I got to experience fights that I wasn't thinking about and working on and doing. Now that we've moved into this role, a non-UFC week is like a perfect week to just drive on down to Philly. Although I'm taking the Amtrak, but
I'm also taking the Amtrak. Shout out to Amtrak for real. Shout out to trains.
Yeah, trains are great. Take the Amtrak down to Philly and enjoy a fight night. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
Yingling actually brewed in Pottsville, PA, but
yeah, but it's like a PA thing.
We're repping Philly. I do have to say last thing about Philly that I'm a little bit disappointed. I think someone told you that Steve's is like an official sponsor of Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, somebody did say that.
Yeah, I think that was Jake Knocker from MMA Media. A little bit unfortunate that we're not going to get to eat it.
Is it? Oh, but is it confirmed that it is one of his official sponsors?
I couldn't find anything, but he's Philly born and bred. So,
okay, damn.
I figured he might know.
Somebody, if we have this wrong, if there's a Steve's that's just like in downtown that we can still get to, we're going to go. But yeah, 40 minutes outside, especially with we don't have a car there, it's going to be tough to figure that out.
All right, so that's KnuckleMania 5 this weekend. Before we get to the PFL, Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes battle.
I'm also excited for that.
Oh, God, I can't wait for it. It's also happening in the day.
Yeah.
Catch it on the train while we're on the way in, and then just enjoy the rest of the day in Philadelphia. Before we get to that, though, Inauguration Day on Monday. We get pictures of Conor McGregor and the Pauls coming out, and it looks like they're all friendly and everything like that. But now some videos have started to surface, and maybe it isn't.
It isn't as chummy.
Maybe it isn't as friendly as we actually expected it to be. Let's watch a couple of those right now.
Yeah, look, it's all sweet here. It's all sweet here. Yeah. You kept talking about shoot, you did. I thought we were going to get the fight down when we get very quiet.
What did you think the best course of action was for that?
You were giving all this stain and this stain and that. You're f***ing control with the WWE as well. But I don't be giving all this mega stip.
I didn't hear the last 5 seconds.
That was in the air.
Can we stop it here for a second?
Bring it home for me.
It's 8 a.m.
That's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about like the inner workings of this boxing match. Like, if anybody was unaware, Conor McGregor and Logan Paul seemed to be pushing the idea that they were going to box. There was going to be a very wealthy Indian family that was going to pay for this fight to happen. And the inner workings there are fascinating because he's talking about like, you're backing down, you're taking your orders from WWE, you're talking about Dana, this and that. He seems to be alluding to the idea that like Logan's a little more of a TKO company man, and he's on the outside a little bit, being like, I'm all about the business, I'm all about making this fight, and I'm not bowing to like the TKO overlords. I'm like trying to push this forward, and maybe he's expecting Logan to meet him there, and Logan's like, no, they signed my checks, like I'm doing this. So I thought that was fascinating, also for Logan to post it, since that came from Logan's YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's all of it is very interesting, especially like the way that like we see Conor interacting with him. You can tell like he still doesn't like them. Like despite the pictures with the smiling and everything like that, like you can just tell the way his energy is toward them, that like he's just like, man, we were supposed to fight, dude, and you messed this up for us.
I think when he looks at them, and I'm 100% speculating here, I cannot get inside the mind of Conor McGregor here, but I just think he looks at Logan Paul and Jake Paul and is like, yeah, you're not me.
Yeah.
Like the same way the famous thing that we sound drop all the time, Dustin Poirier looking at Michael Chandler being like, you're not there is no we are not the same. I think Conor McGregor looks at Logan Paul and Jake Paul and thinks of them as like,
who the fuck is we?
That's the clip. Manufactured kind of like fighters, but they're not really fighters, and he's a born kind of fighter. I think he sees them that way.
All right, let's continue.
How?
You can tell he's got a zit. He put a zit in his brain.
Just doing commentary.
This is the real deal, yeah?
He put a zit in his brain.
You know that, bro. So, I mean, look how we'll do it. He couldn't do what? One lady, one lady. He was sick. He was sick over it, yeah. He was sick.
Sick.
You're sick. Listen, here's the deal. I'm going to slap the head off the two of yous and KSI. Yous are mixers to me. You understand that? Side jobs. A little side job.
No,
yeah?
you can't even do your main job. How you gonna do a side job?
You know, that's what we're afraid of. No, going backstage.
Simmer down, boys. Bro, it's crazy being on a bus with you, bro. If there's a dolly, bro, you'd be going through a window.
Okay, there's a lot in that one too.
It sounds like they're joking around with each other, but it also sounds like they really do not like each other at all.
Yeah, and also how about the line by Logan? Like, Conor goes, you guys are side jobs. As I said, like, he doesn't view them as like, that's not a real fight. This is just a side quest for me. And he's like, you can't even do your main job. Like, that was a hell of a clap by Logan.
And then it's weird being on a bus with you, man. I'm expecting a dolly to come flying through the window. Like, that's not really something you say joking to someone.
The most fascinating was Conor being like, oh, actually November. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, we're talking about November now. Like, Conor McGregor has a date in mind. Maybe he's been having conversations. That's interesting to me. Conor McGregor talking about November. Now, that would make me wonder.
Conor McGregor talking about November, but I mean, like, what was it? Like 2 months ago, it was Dan Hooker, February 1st in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
these things happen all the time.
No, not important.
It was Michael Chandler in June.
No. November. But it does make me think, like, okay, so then if that's the case, it would make sense why he's kind of thinking like, okay, I'll do this Logan Paul like one-off boxing exhibition thing sometime in the middle of the year, and maybe then November. But yeah, I don't think they like each other. I think they're kind of just tolerating each other because they're in, the same confined environment. But I can't say. I'm trying. Like, am I semi interested in those guys like going back and forth? Like, I have to admit, I kind of am. Like, I'm not like, look, I don't think Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor is a great boxing match, but I do have to admit, like, the back and forth, the banter was pretty good. Like, I feel like I could go for a press conference between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor, or Jake and Conor McGregor.
I think a press conference would be great, but I think when the fight actually rolled around and like it would be taking place in India and like it would just be such a one-off. Like, there wouldn't be any real stakes or anything involved. It would just be a massive, massive payday for the both of them. And then the fight itself, I just can't imagine would be that great. It would be like, I feel like it would just come and go, and it would be like, all right.
Yeah, but the press conference.
Press conference would be great.
Or just like put him in a bus
Jake
again.
get involved?
Put him in. Well, that's the thing. I mean, Jake, he tweeted out at the time that this was like the rumors about this were all kind of swirling and there was speculation. Like, I'm not boxing Conor McGregor unless the UFC signs off on it. Like Jake is, I think, in terms of their boxing careers, Jake's on a different level than Logan, right? Logan's kind of the guy who's coming in when there's an opportunity and he's going to make money, but primarily like he's a Prime founder and executive, and he is a WWE wrestler. That's like the main Logan business. For Jake, he's a boxer. Like that dude, his business right now is boxing, and so he's in a different tier. I think it would be a lot more complicated for him and Conor McGregor to do an actual fight than it potentially would be for Logan. And for the reasons we talked about and they kind of allude to in the video, they're under the TKO umbrella. It would just be a TKO business venture at that point. Like Logan's got his contract with WWE. Conor's got his contract with UFC. It's all under one umbrella. It's in the same house. And so there seems a way to potentially figure that out. But do I think it will happen? I don't know. Ultimately not. It seemed like it was just like a social media kind of thing. But the more videos I see like this, the more I'm like,
I think it was a real thing at one point with the way that Conor was talking. I think this Ambani family, like one of the richest families in Asia, the like Indian powerhouse in terms of wealth, was interested in making it happen.
Well, I think they probably still are, but can you do it is the question.
I think it was very real with the way that Conor McGregor was acting towards Logan. I think it was just like, man, we were supposed to have this fight. Like we were supposed to make it happen. But it's just falling through, and I don't think it will happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it will happen. I think they're running into too many issues, and I think that's what Conor was alluding to.
Yeah, and maybe the issue seemingly, at least according to Conor, is like maybe Logan is not trying to do it without the approval of WME. Of TKO.
So when McGregor was like, I'm going to slap the heads off of both of you, and he was like, and then KSI as well, like you're all side quests. So Jake, Logan, KSI on the hit list. Do we think he ever fights any of them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we think McGregor gets in the ring with one of them at some point.
I think he's more likely to fight one of them than he would be to fight Michael Chandler.
Wow.
It just makes more sense. The business of Conor McGregor would be better served by fighting those guys.
Yeah. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that.
I think he will fight one, if not more than one of those guys.
What do you think we see first? One of those fights or UFC?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know the order of operations. I would have to imagine, unless it's Logan and TKO is involved in it, I would expect UFC first. But from there, I don't know, because I think Conor has 2 fights left. So one more, and then maybe you have that last fight, and then it's on to one of these guys. So I think if it's not Logan, it will be UFC first.
I mean, Conor was riled up on that one. On that one bus clip, man. The veins were popping. Like he was pushing hard.
He had a zin in his head.
He put a zin on his brain. Like I mean, he was fired up and ready to go. That makes me believe that these were real talks that they were having.
Oh, I don't have any doubt that the parties involved were having real conversations and trying to make this happen. But the same things that we all kind of like thought might happen in the beginning, I think are probably what happened in terms of, why would the UFC let Conor McGregor do this? Now, again, if it's Logan and it's TKO and there's a way to make it happen in-house.
TKO, ex Ambani family, joint venture, Conor McGregor, Logan Paul. We're taking 2 of our biggest stars under our banner and having them fight.
What does that do? Here's another thing, though, and I'm sure that the UFC has considered this. If you are the UFC and for some reason or another, I'm not saying I would expect this. I would bet my mortgage on Conor McGregor beating Logan Paul in a boxing match. If Conor McGregor lost a boxing match to a WWE wrestler who's under contract with the WWE and TKO, that would be a very bad look for UFC being like, we're going to bring this guy back in and he's going to be a star of our company. So it just, from all the risk involved, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the amount of money that I imagine they could throw at this thing, maybe there's a world where it starts to make sense. I'm not hopeful that it will kind of all come together, but it's a fascinating thing to kind of keep track of.
Do you want to know the odds on an offshore book right now for a Conor McGregor Logan Paul fight?
My brain is like Conor McGregor should be minus 5,000, but I know that that's not going to be the number because Logan Paul is so popular, and like I feel like they will get people at a much lower number. All right, I'm going to say Conor minus 500, Logan like 350 coming back or something like that.
Logan Paul.
He's not a favorite.
Minus.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
140. Conor McGregor plus 110.
That can't be. That cannot be.
Conor McGregor plus 110. You can bet it right now. A Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor.
Okay. Jake, I will not be surprised, would be the favorite. I would expect him to be the favorite. He's got to be like, at least like, if Logan's minus 140, he's got to be like 500 probably?
Minus 300 Jake Paul.
How does any of that make sense?
McGregor plus 240.
Logan Paul, who's not a boxer, who's a WWE wrestler, is minus 140. Jake Paul, who's actually a boxer, minus 300. I mean, I feel like there's value on. So in the Jake Paul line, I feel like there's value on the Jake Paul side. In the Logan Paul Conor McGregor line, I feel like there's a ton of value on the Conor side. These lines feel off, but I don't know if these fights will ever happen, so it doesn't really matter. But that feels drastically off.
Can we talk about mortgage payments as well? They also have a fake line for Jake Paul, Roy Jones Jr., and they only have Jake Paul minus 400. Roy Jones is 56.
Yeah, we just saw that one.
Yeah. And then lastly, they have a Canelo Alvarez, Jake Paul, Canelo minus 1,500.
Yeah.
Value.
I mean, I still think there's value on Canelo there.
Value on Canelo.
I think there's value on Canelo.
Jake Paul did go to Twitter after these videos started getting posted and said, "My guy, you are a total clown. You don't control your own career. The conductor conducts what you do and don't do, and you bow and say thank you for the payment, sir."
All of this lines up with the narrative that I would expect, right? Conor, there's so much money on the line. Let's make this fight. Logan, man, WWE signs my contract. Like, if we can't make this happen, I'm not going to. Jake, Conor, I want to actually fight you. I'm the guy who actually wants to fight you. If you can't get out of your UFC deal, there's nothing to talk about. It's all kind of happening the way I would have expected it to happen, and all the parties are acting accordingly. But I do have to admit, the back and forth did something for me in a sense that, like, I don't think a Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor boxing match is going to be thrilling. I expect Conor to really win pretty easily, but I do think there's something there from just a spectacle perspective.
I was just going to say, it's a ridiculous spectacle, and it'll be like watching reality TV, and like the fight won't be great, and people will complain about it and everything, but they'll all watch. Like, that's what it would be.
You know, in a different way than the Tyson versus Paul, which was also a spectacle.
For sure.
There would be true bad blood. I never bought like Mike Tyson and Jake Paul didn't like each other.
I also don't think there would be like a moral objection from people where it's like you shouldn't be fighting a 58-year-old, 59-year-old man like who has, you know, we saw him in a wheelchair 6 months ago or whatever like that. I think it would just more so be like people complaining of like, why is he not fighting in the UFC? Why is he fighting Logan Paul?
Yeah. I have to admit, I didn't think I could get interested in this. I'm a little bit closer.
I guess I'm like mediocrely interested in it, but like what I'm interested in is seeing him return to the UFC. I'm
more interested in that, certainly.
Come back to the UFC.
Yes.
I want to see the man fight in the octagon.
Yeah, I am like, I should be clear. I'm a little more interested. I am exponentially more interested in Conor McGregor as an MMA fighter than I am against Logan Paul.
Do you know what like a Conor McGregor?
How's the line minus 140?
Yeah, I mean that we would have
That's stupid.
Yeah, we'd have to bet the Notorious in that one. Do you know what like a McGregor coming back and going 3-0 in a year would do? Could you imagine? I
mean,
he fights 3 times and he wins all 3.
The
I mean, I guess he would have the title at that point. If he goes 2-0, he's getting a title shot.
If he goes 1-0, he's getting a title shot. If Conor McGregor could come back and win 3 fights in a calendar, first of all, he's only got 2 fights left, so that would mean like the UFC has to negotiate.
That's what I'm saying.
Which would be even crazier.
That's what I'm saying. What 3-0 would do to the MMA community?
Yeah. Conor would be back, the biggest star in MMA and UFC.
It would feed generations.
Yeah. It would make their year insane. And on the heels of new rights deals, potentially, like it would be nuts.
To another Irishman that fights this weekend, very, somewhat interesting with McGregor and Logan Paul, but to an Irishman that is actually getting into a cage and fighting this weekend, Paul Hughes, going to be taking on Usman Nurmagomedov for the belt?
The Bellator belt.
The Bellator belt will be on the line.
Yes, because Usman is the reigning Bellator champion. Ariel, look, I agree with Ariel on this. Ariel has said, just make this the PFL title.
Right.
There's no need to respect the lineage of the Bellator belt. I understand why you do it. For me personally, I agree with that long term. I do understand why in this first iteration, Bellator having just been acquired, Usman, the reigning Bellator champion, you do this, and then maybe you revisit this after and make it a PFL belt. But I do understand there is a history of the Bellator belt, and it runs through to Usman Nurmagomedov, and now it will be the winner of Hughes and Nurmagomedov. So I'm okay with the Bellator belt being on the line. I do think after this it starts to kind of lose its luster, and maybe you just switch it.
Is there even a PFL lightweight champion right now?
No, because they've only done the tournaments. So you'd be the tournament champion. And so that's what we saw with some of the matchups with the Bellator versus PFL, I believe. I don't remember if there were any. I think there were some that it was like the PFL tournament champion was facing the Bellator champion, and but maybe not even. I know this. Francis was not the Bellator champion, even though he was facing one of the PFL season winners. So either way, it has outlived its usefulness. I'm okay with after this one, whoever ends here as the lineal Bellator champion, and then we move on from this after.
Whoever wins this gets Godzi Rabadanov for
not into that.
for the unifying title.
No,
you don't want that.
Skip.
You sure?
Skip.
He got a great one over Brent Prince.
It was a fantastic fight. That's not the fights I'm interested in.
To me, like this card obviously has more than just this on it. I think Vadim Nemkov is going, which like is somewhat interesting against Tim Johnson. But to me, it truly is just it's a one fight card, and it's between these two.
Ireland versus Dagestan. Super dominant fighter in Usman Nurmagomedov, guy who was supposed to kind of hit a stumbling block with AJ McKee and seemed to pass that test. I know in the promos, Usman is like, you pulled out a split decision. It was a kind of BS split decision. He beat
clearly
AJ
won
McKee.
the last two rounds of the fight.
Beat AJ McKee very definitively. I was shocked with how
Did
well
I score
he did.
that 30-27, Hughes?
It might have been. It might have been. It was 29-28 at the very minimum for me. I thought that was crazy. I did not expect him to pass this test. I expected AJ McKee to be too much. I rate AJ McKee very highly. Paul Hughes has arrived, and so I'm extremely excited to see if he's even. I know he's the real deal. I know he's big news. I know
big news, baby.
I know he's big news. Can he be talking about I'm one of the best in my weight class on the planet? If he passes the test against Usman, that's where you're starting to have the conversation.
And he thinks so. The face-off came out, and it's absolutely electric. Let's go to that right now because these two are getting after it in this face-off.
Time. Let's go.
We can do it here.
Few days.
If you want, you can do it here.
Super intense here.
Front laps.
They don't want to break the stare.
Nope.
Time. Let's go.
We can do it here.
Few days.
If you want, you can do it here.
Do what?
Whatever you want.
Bro, we're fighting in 4 days. You focus on that day.
I'm focused all day, every day.
You're looking past
Doesn't
me.
matter.
You're looking past me.
Who are you?
Exactly.
Get out of here. We'll see what?
He's just tickled by it.
That's your mistake.
I love that. What I love so much about this is they're both kind of acknowledging the other's point, but they don't care, right? Paul Hughes' point is, you're overlooking me. And he might be right. And then Usman's point is like, it doesn't matter if I'm overlooking you. Who the fuck are you? Like, I'm Usman Nurmagomedov. And then Usman's point is like, you're this hotshot up and comer. Like, I'm a Nurmagomedov. I'm the champion. I'm the guy who's been here. You don't even know. You don't know what I've forgotten. You don't even know half of what I know. And he might be right, but maybe it's Paul Hughes' time. Like, I just love the dynamic between the two.
Maybe it is, man. That's what makes it so great. And there was another promo that PFL had, and I just love the line from Usman Nurmagomedov. He's like, I'm going to bring him into a dark room that he's never been into. I live in that room.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
That's a line.
That's a good line.
And so was the line was like, I live this every day because I know he like any fighter from that team, Habib, Abdulmanap like lineage, every single day is training to be the best possible MMA fighter that you can be.
Man, could you imagine if we lost, if Umar lost his O and Usman lost his O in back-to-back weeks?
It'd be pretty surprising. Yeah.
Be a scary training room to be in with Habib afterward. To talk more about this, though, let's actually head out to the Emerald Isle, to our man over in Blanchardstown. Pete Carroll, what is up,
the music.
my brother?
The music. Let's
go. Look at that. Give us a little jig there, Pete.
That's beautiful, boys. How are you? The storm's about to hit over here in Blanchardstown. I can't stop dancing now.
You guys got a storm
coming to Dubai as well, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Big news against Usman Nurmagomedov. Hearing a lot that Mr. Nurmagomedov very frosty around fight week. Not playing the game is what I'm hearing. Not really wanting to get any of the FaceTime with the staff, anything like that. In and out, strictly business. Don't talk to me on the start of the show. That's what I'm hearing, guys. Unsubstantiated reports, we'll say.
Is that going to be his undoing? Do you feel like that's like a sign of something?
I don't know. Well, you know, when you're facing off against Team Habib, I think you have to cling on to absolutely anything that's going. And you just mentioned it. Umar Nurmagomedov, his brother, coming off a loss the weekend to Merab, obviously never defeated before, and now his brother headed into this fight this week. I mean, you can't imagine morale is through the roof in the old Nurmagomedov household after a solitary loss. I mean, do they even know how to deal with this kind of thing? Big fight, though. Like, I really feel as though this is a fight where Paul Hughes can kind of stake a claim of being the new face of Irish MMA. I put out an article today on Uncrowned about the Dagestan v Ireland 2 promotion. And I know we spoke to Ariel about this yesterday, and he made a great point. Like, look, they need to get as many eyeballs as they can. And that's fine in terms of the international market. But right now, MMA is nearly a taboo sport in Ireland because obviously the biggest frame of reference for MMA in Ireland is Conor McGregor. And right now, you know, you only have to look as far as the reports people, like newspapers over here are putting out about him. They describe him as disgraced MMA fighter or shamed MMA fighter. It's not as open a door as it once was. Look, we have a guy that's really doing well in this kind of sport. Let's get behind it. And what makes it harder is when you have McGregor all over the promotions. And look, obviously I'm talking about this in light of the civil case that he lost in November. That's obviously brought the perception of McGregor to an all-time low in the country. But this has been going on for over 10 years. And it did once work in Irish fighters' favour. Like, you know, Artem Lobov be the first person to tell you, like, I got in there because of my association with Conor McGregor. And there were plenty of others who are given a leg up and a hand up to get in the door of the promotion and to other promotions because of their affiliation with them now. But we've seen that kind of reverse since about 2020-ish, where McGregor is a polarizing dude here. We saw Ian Gary come into his debut in Madison Square Garden in 2021. And obviously, like, I sympathize with the guys, with the likes of Hughes and Gary, because the reason they are in this sport is Conor McGregor. They saw what he did and they were like, we want to do what he did. And obviously Ian won his fight. He had a spectacular knockout in his debut and he got on and he did all the McGregor lines. But while that's great for headlines and great for media people, the Irish people at home watching that are like, not this again. And look, it's not just Ireland. How many times have we heard, like, this guy's a fake Conor McGregor? Ilya Topuria was accused of it recently. I just think Hughes is a guy where we can turn the page, give people a new story. He has a remarkable story. This is a man who was told he would never fight again when he was when he was a pro. He had one of the most spectacular pro debuts in the history of Irish MMA, broke his hand, then subsequently broke his hand 3 more times, was told, don't you fight again. This is not going to be good for you. Sought out every hand specialist in the world just so he could fight again. Becomes the champion of Europe, so to speak, with Cage Warriors, wants to go to the UFC. They call him. He cannot go when they call him because he's injured, and because of his history with injuries, he takes them very seriously. He ends up becoming a free agent. Every promotion in the world comes in for him. He ends up with PFL, and now he's knocked off AJ McKee, and now he's about to stake a claim for the lightweight title against Usman Nurmagomedov. And we're going, hey, do you remember when Conor fought Habib? It's kind of like that, isn't it? I just don't know why you do it in a situation like this. It's a new story. It's a new person to get excited about. Let's treat it that way as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. So we talked about this in the lead up to Ian Gary versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. We asked, like, can Gary be that guy to turn the tide for Irish MMA? To say, like, okay, the Conor McGregor era was great. We had our moment, but now the country seemingly has soured on the sport, as you've told us. Is there a way that Paul Hughes could potentially be that guy, right? Ian fell short against Shavkat. I don't think that means he won't be back to a title. But what is it? Is it going to be the accolades in the cage, right? Is it going to be Paul Hughes beating Usman Nurmagomedov, showing that an Irish MMA fighter can be a champion? Is it he has to get to the UFC and capture that belt? Is it I'm top 10 in the world, I'm top 1 in the world? Is it ever going to be the thing in the cage, or is it a combination of factors? He gets the championship and then he represents himself in the right way, and he's a sportsman that the country can be proud of. How do we go from where we are now to the faith in the Irish MMA champion being restored?
I think it's a matter of just letting Paul be Paul. Like instead of these kind of promotions with McGregor, etc. Like this is what we're seeing. It, you know, and look, the promotion was launched on the final week of that case, which I didn't think was very helpful either. But when Paul is put in those situations, he's on a show called Off the Ball earlier this week, and you know, they have given MMA fighters a hard time. They've even given me and Ariel a hard time historically back in the day when we were on the show. But he had them eating out of the palm of his hand. Like, this is a different kind of guy. Look, he's very confident. They have that in common. Every fighter is confident, but he has a different way of presenting it. He obviously is from Derry as well, and that's a very historical part of Ireland. They're very passionate people, great sports people up there. And I just feel it's a matter of just getting him in there. The problem is the national appetite for MMA is just not where it was. And it was at such an amazing point at say, like, even 2017, 2018, we saw Bellator come over here, and they kind of repackaged UFC's Irish Invasion, the one we saw in 2014, got a lot of SBG fighters in, and they were selling out cards left, right, and center. I think they sold out 2 cards, but I mean, they were packing this place out a lot more than you'd expect every single time. Eventually, compassion fatigue kind of hit in, and people were like, only SBG guys are getting the opportunity here. They're only pushing this gym because of the affiliation with Conor. So in that respect, Paul represents something completely new. He's from Derry, as I said. He fights out of Belfast. Norman Park, who was from Northern Ireland, was like the forgotten son of that Irish Invasion. He always felt left out. He was like, you know, they never give the fighters from up north the same kind of spotlight they do with the guys from the Republic. And, you know, Paul is living proof that, you know, the story's moved on. It's a different thing. That gym and FAI, they obviously have Reese McKeedy, Joe McColgan, former Cage Warriors champion. Really, really exciting, really spectacular fighters. And I just think we're ready to move on at this stage. And, you know, it's tough, as I said, because the scene wouldn't be a scene without McGregor. He is the one who brought us all to the party. But essentially, he's brought us all to the party and he's turned the music off and no one can dance anymore at this stage. You know what I'm saying?
You're a bit concerned about the comparisons. Is there a worry for you that the comparisons will continue if Paul Hughes loses this fight and it's just like, well, he went up against the Dagestani, he wasn't able to win either? And is there also a worry that like Paul Hughes starts getting buried or like forgotten about from Irish fans if he isn't able to become a champion?
My concern about the comparisons, GC, is the entry point. It's just like, I don't want people to be introduced to this guy because obviously we know PFL doesn't have the brand recognition the UFC does. But when they're introduced to this guy and the headline is something McGregor, immediately the people are going to feel a certain way about it. Like that's just the way it is at the moment. I think that went against Ian when he went in. Obviously there was a lot of, you know, the Irish Invasion Part 2, all this kind of stuff. And I think Ian is completely, like, this is an innocent situation. Like, he wasn't going in to try and ruffle people's feathers. Like, he was genuinely saying that. Like, I love this guy. I want to show this guy how much I respect him, how much he inspired me. So I think it's rough for them as well to be seeing this kind of stuff. Like, Jesus, you know, I don't mind being compared to my hero in terms of the sporting element of it. But unfortunately, his leg in Ireland, he is more famous for things outside of the octagon than he is for stuff inside it now. And that's a terrible, terrible pity. Honestly, like, it's no one's sadder about that than me.
Yeah. So let's talk about the fight itself. What do you know about how Paul Hughes's preparation for this fight has gone? The task of facing an undefeated champion the task of facing somebody from that Team Khabib camp. How has he approached this differently? What is the look into the mindset of Paul Hughes heading into this one?
Paul is a really quietly confident guy, and he is a real tape studier. Like, he will meticulously break down every aspect of that. He gives tapes to several different people, probably Liam Shannon, head coach of FAI, and Pat McAllister, another head coach in FAI. Very different guys. Liam Shannon and Pat used to fight as well. Pat, I'd say more of a ground guy. Liam, obviously very good in the ground too, but I think I was telling you guys, before he fought AJ McKee, I went up to watch a day of sparring, and Liam Shannon is a big dude. Like, I'd say he's about 220 pounds. He used to fight at welterweight, and he's ripped. And he was simulating AJ McKee, like the shots and stuff like this, and just the constant pace, all this kind of stuff. I was watching, and you could see, even though he's wearing pads and he's doing all this stuff, you could see what he was trying to do. I can imagine it's very similar to that. Paul will be looking to prove a point here. He has a chip on his shoulder, like he always has. And I feel like because of that scare early on in his career with the injury, he looks at this career like it's a ticking clock in his head. Like, what if this happens again? And he's desperately out there trying to get everything that he wants to accomplish. He wants to gather as many things as he can immediately. Like, can you remember the first time he came on Ariel's show when he had signed this deal? And he was like, I'm going to be the champion. I'm going to beat all the best guys. And people were laughing. People were like, oh, here we go again. Another Irish guy talking all that shit. But against AJ McKee, I mean, I don't know how anyone could watch that fight and come away from it and not say, well, this guy isn't talking shit at all. He is the real deal. His takedown defense was impeccable against AJ McKee. Obviously, Usman probably represents a new level of that coming from the team that he comes from. But I really believe that Paul can get this done. I think he's carried himself brilliantly all fight week. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I think the fact that he's only in here 2 fights and he is commanding a card like this, the top of it, like GC described it as a 1-fight card. There are 3 other Irish guys on the card as well to get us into that Ireland v Dagestan thing. Like, we're all here going, oh, I can't wait to get one back on those Dagestanis. You know, that's what we all go down the pub on Saturday night. We're like, how are we gonna get one back on these Dagestan guys? That's all we think about here in Ireland.
All right, so we're talking about the fight itself. You said you believe Paul can win. He is a massive underdog in terms of the line. He's like a plus 475 underdog. So obviously Vegas doesn't have much faith in him. How does he win? How does he get this done?
I just think he has to stop Usman from implementing his game plan, whether he's trying to mix it up with takedowns and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it would be wise to stand with Paul because he carries such a wallop. Paul himself is very dynamic, and I think we saw that later in the fight against AJ. I think at the start he set up a stall a bit, like let's let this guy come at me, let me see what he's going to give me, and then we kind of see Paul's game plan kind of unravel over rounds 2 and rounds 3. I think this will be similar. It's 5 rounds, obviously, isn't it? I'm not going crazy here. Let me tell you that right now, boys. Let me just check real quick.
I'm gonna assume yes.
It is 5 rounds, yes.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in 5 rounds again. He has fought 5 rounds on occasion with Cage Warriors against Morgan Charrier, one of the great regional fights you'll ever see. Irish tricolours on one side of York Hall, French tricolours on the other side of York Hall, and just people losing their shit. So, I mean, this is something he'll want to do. Like, everything about this fight, he will love. Like, that will be a great motivation to him, the fact that he is a massive underdog. Like, he's 7-2 over here, which is, I think, is absolutely insane. He'll like the fact that it's in Dubai. Obviously, we know places like this is nearly a home away from home for Team Khabib. He'll love that too. So yeah, all of the things that you think are playing against Paul Hughes are actually lighting a fire under his arse, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think the winner of this fight has a real claim to being top 10, if not higher, lightweight in the world, right? Like, we were talking about AJ McKee as, oh, what if he comes over to the UFC? How dynamic would he be? Like, we're talking
People
about
thought
guys.
He beat Volk.
Yeah, there was tons of kind of chatter about that. We're talking about a guy who in Paul Hughes just beat AJ McKee and a guy in Usman who has the pedigree and we know is one of the best lightweights in the world. I think there's a lot on the line here in terms of not just like the Bellator championship, which I don't know how you feel. We know how ArielHelwani feels. It's kind of silly to even still have the lineage of that. But beyond the title, beyond that specific belt, I think that we're looking at a real player in that top of the lightweight rankings across the worldwide rankings. And so I wonder what is at stake here. What is more important in your mind for Paul Hughes? Is it that he wants this championship to be able to say that? Is it the settling of Ireland versus Dagestan and getting one back? Is
Let's
it
just say no,
I want to be? Is it I want to be one of the best fighters in the world? What is his motivation?
One of the best fighters in the world and recognized as that. Like, he wants people saying that. That's been his goal since day one. Like, this winning this belt against Usman is the best thing he can do to stake his claim at that kind of status right now. Look, you guys mentioned it. You guys, just before I came on, you were talking about, like, well, where does the winner of this fight go? How often are we saying this about the PFL right now?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we've said it every time someone climbs to the top of the mountain in the PFL. Dakota, it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? How are we going to keep this person captivated? How are we going to keep them interested? We know all of the conversation now. She's with Dakota is, she's climbed to the top of the mountain. We can't think of any interesting matches for her outside of, like, Liz Carmouche. I think we might be in the minority. I think that's interesting as well. And everybody's just like, well, how would she do against Valentina? Like, that's the worst thing PFL could have happened here. That is their biggest problem. I think everybody's watching these title fights and there's stakes involved, but there's no story beyond it. And when you compare that with the UFC and, like, obviously PFL are, trying to stake their claim as being their biggest rival. I mean, we are so far down the road by the time a championship fight happens. Like, example, Jones v. Miocic. Did we even talk about Jones v. Miocic that week? I mean, did anyone consider how that fight might go? It's because there's so many things that can happen beyond these title captures or title defenses. That's what keeps the fan base interested. It's like what Ariel says about WWE. Like, you're watching it and you're watching it for whatever main event is there that night. But when you are watching that main event, they are putting a storyline in place that will keep you glued until the next week. UFC, obviously, they don't have choreographed fights like that. They don't have scripts, etc. But they have a very good way of doing that. The media, everything around the sport, the online element of it, they have everyone working for them in that regard, constantly hypothesizing and theorizing as to what's next for these guys. And I think that's a big blind spot for PFL as we stand right now.
Yeah, you make a great point, because this feels like the final boss, right? If Paul Hughes clears this test, it feels like, can you find somebody else in that roster or in a tournament or whatever that would rise to the caliber of an Usman that he was able to face? And the answer is probably realistically no. And so we do wonder what would be next for him and if there's options available. But I'm excited about this fight itself, and for now, that's enough for me.
GC put his money where his mouth was the last time now, I believe, with Paul Hughes. Won a few quid.
Putting him on the
We're
spot.
about to get into picks right after this, Pete, so you're going to have to stick around and find out.
So we're going to find out. So that means you're picking Usman, is that?
We're going to have to
Sorry
see.
to tell
We're going to have to see. Irish and betting, it just... that's behind the scenes. That's
do we want to?
No. We don't need to get into all of that. Pete, thanks so much for joining us, man. We appreciate the insight. And not only do we want you guys to go read Pete's article right now on uncrown.com, but also tune in to The Crack tomorrow. You'll be diving way deeper than us on this PFL title, Bellator title on the line. A belt's on the line. A belt's on the line.
It's a Bellator belt.
A belt there.
It's a Bellator belt.
It's a belter.
A belt there.
It's a belter.
1 p.m. tomorrow, right here on this channel. PT, incredible host of The Crack. Thank you for joining us, PT.
All right, PT. We'll see you in Philadelphia, man.
Have a great show. Bye-bye.
Think he's coming?
Do I think he's coming to what?
Philadelphia?
No, I don't think he's coming to Philadelphia. At 1 p.m., he'll be in his home in Ireland.
Well, actually, it'll be 1 a.m. Ireland time when that one's kicking off.
Yeah, but I'm saying at 1 p.m. our time, he will be at his home in Ireland hosting The Crack. There's no way that he's...
you can catch an evening flight out of...
the PJ. Well, we know. Paul Hughes exposed it. Yeah. Paul Hughes exposed it.
Guess at the PJ out in Old Blanche and get over here.
He's actually kind of posh, so maybe he will hop on the PJ.
All right, so no UFC this weekend, but I think because we're going, me, you, and Frank are going, we do a 3-man parlay pass.
Oh, I like it.
And we make picks from KnuckleMania. I guess you could do PFL, but I'm going to say that we all do KnuckleMania so we can cheer for them all together.
Are you in agreement?
Yeah, man. Let's do KnuckleMania 5.
KnuckleMania 5. I need that on a shirt. I need that on a poster. I need it on everything. So, yeah. If you want to kick us off, Frank, I'll let you just kick us off. And
No randomizer, huh?
We can just go in the rotation. We can just go in the rotation. It's a different kind of day today. So
you all right, man? Jordan just started coughing, just ridiculous.
Oh my God, I can hear him.
I hear him hacking back there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
making sure everyone's all right.
All right, well, rest in peace to Jordan, man. He lived a good one.
Just hit those graphics before you nod off. All right, so for my pick,
is he okay?
I think he's okay. Just you should have heard
he's all
the
right.
explosion that
He's
just
good.
came.
We got the thumbs
He's
up.
good. Yeah, he's all right.
It's because he can't speak anymore. He has to mime with his hands.
I can't speak.
So for me, we talked about him earlier. This guy,
cheers.
Jesus.
Need some water, Jordan?
Jordan, actually,
he's got a bottle right in front of him. All right,
We're all
maybe
getting
we're
a
drawing
water
too much
reminder.
attention to it. We're drawing too much attention to it. We talked about this guy earlier. I can't wait to see him in person. I think it's going to be so fast that it's going to end before it even really started. It's Mick Terrell. How tall is this guy?
6'4".
That's insane. I don't know. Like
You always do these giant buildups, like you're about to drop all this knowledge on us, and then you just cut it short with just like, it's a blah, and it's a blah, and it's Mick Terrell.
That's right. It's Mick Terrell.
A blah and a blah, and a blah and a blah.
All right, so Mick Terrell is the pick. Minus 260 right now.
I like it.
Minus
That's even
260. All right, you go ahead, Rick.
I'm going to take Rowdy Beck.
Rowdy Beck against Taylor Starling.
Yep.
All right, so you guys got the two of the last three. I'm actually going to start us early. Our guy Sean Brady was on the show yesterday, obviously accepting the challenge to get on the bike, but he will be at BKFC because he's cornering his friend. He had a tough time saying it, and it's his very own friend. He had a tough time saying it yesterday. I'm going to give it a try because he's a Georgian, so we're brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Itzo Babaladze.
Let's go.
Minus 300. Sean Brady said the hardest hands he has ever felt. He said when he's punching pads, he can feel it through the pads. So Itzo Babaladze, minus 300, and that gives us a 3 legs, plus 204.
Nice. Easy. Light work.
Easy money on that one. That's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. That is going to be really fun if the Parlay Pals get to the last leg and it's that heavyweight championship.
Oh,
it would be Mick Terrell.
All right.
That's going to be awesome.
Frankie's going to take us home tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. No, Saturday.
Saturday. I actually have some bets of my own as well. We can actually start at the just a few. We can start with the PFL Champion Series. I'm going with Paul Hughes.
Hey, PT doubted you, and you just
a half unit for the guy. Big news. Throw that on there. Plus 475. It's a tall task. It's going to be very tough. Does he get it done? We will see. But I'm going to have faith, man. He's got all the belief in the world. It's very similar to me versus Brady. Everyone's saying Brady's a lock. GC doesn't stand a chance. But I have this unwavering self-belief kin to Paul Hughes. So I have to believe in the guy. A little half unit on old Paul Hughes. And that's all I got on
When
PFL.
he came in studio, I thought to myself, he reminds me of GC, so I get it.
Yeah. He actually said that to me when we were.
Oh, he's like,
we got a picture. He was
Tinder.
just like, man, you remind me of myself. And I was just like, yeah, I get that a lot, Paul. I get that a lot. Over to KnuckleMania main event. We're in Philly. Let's get a little plus money on old Eddie Alvarez. Do I know what's going to happen here? No. No. Don't look to me for analytics. I'm in Philly. Eddie is a Philadelphian. Crowd's going to be raucous. It's going to be crazy. It's the main event. We're just gonna throw a
Stevens
splash.
like minus 120, minus 130?
Minus 140 now, and this is actually shifted. Eddie Alvarez was like minus 130 yesterday. Now he's all the way up to a plus 110.
Oh, so Eddie was the favorite and became a dog just overnight.
Yeah, so people betting up old Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah,
little
clearly.
heathen.
What do you think it was his appearance on the show? They were just like, that dude's hard?
Maybe, yeah. Getting arrested and then Dana White trying to bail him out.
Bail out of jail.
All these crazy stories. I mean, it's just going to be a banger. Just supporting the. Do we have the area code for Philadelphia? City of Brotherly Love.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the.
We need the area code. Philadelphia area code.
The 445, of course, or 215.
215. Shout out. So we're repping Philadelphia, and then I have a parlay of my own. Couple of Philadelphians and a Georgian mixed in there. Dustin Pogue, Itzo Babaladze, and Joey Dajeko. Joey Dajeko.
Give me the breakdown on these guys.
Okay, Itzo Babaladze, that's Sean Brady's guy, so I'm blindly betting on him.
Yep.
Dustin Pog, I saw a YouTube video and the guy called Dustin Pog a lock, so I'm like, sounds good to me. And then Joey Dajko is a beast of a man. He's going to be coming in at a actually massive size differential. He's 209. His opponent, Steve Banks, is 290. I'm trying to find a height on him, but he's just a gigantic human being. Tank is his nickname. He ran up a record as an American boxer of 28, 13, and 4.
Oh, all right.
And then he decided to take off the gloves and give bare knuckle a try.
I love it.
So yeah, he's debuting a Philly guy, big KO
so
power.
He's coming from boxing.
Heart, skill set, self-belief. And he's accepted a massive big challenge on a stage for his first go. His wife and daughters is who he fights for. So, I mean, you can't doubt him there.
Do you know this guy?
He's clearly a big-time family man with a lot on the line. He fights with passion, aggression, and he'll be a great addition to the heavyweight division in BKFC.
Damn. All right. I'm sold.
Yeah. That's just straight off of his bio. He's got an insane tattoo. It's like a chain link around his neck with boxing gloves hanging.
Love it.
So, yeah, we're losing the gloves this weekend. But, yeah, he's from Philly, so we're betting on him.
Let's go.
Yeah.
There's the breakdown. That was the deep
I feel
dive.
good. No, that was great. I feel good about this.
We have a pretty big day on Saturday, but are you doing anything with the Inoue and Kim match tomorrow? Or
Wow, listen to Frank. Insider trading. Man knows ball.
Whoa.
Aya Inoue, Friday morning matinee for Mysterious Frank. No, he's minus 5,000. He's going to roll through him.
All right.
Are you going to be up watching that, Frank?
Can you name his opponent, Frank?
Is it like Jun Kim, Yiju Kim? I don't. He's a tin can. I mean, come on. We got the monster.
Tin can.
The
Yi
monster's
Jun
gonna-
Kim. That's actually really close.
Oh, I thought it. Tin Bin. I thought was it.
I mean, come on, dude. He's 21-2.
Well, he's about to be 21-3. So
No, he's actually about to be 21-3. He's going up against the monster. Like one of, if not the best boxers in the entire world. He's going to steamroll.
He's at lowest third pound for pound, at highest one. So.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be in the gym on the bike, streaming that on my iPad.
Yo, I'm kind of
when I
concerned
watch
for Sean Brady because you're taking this extremely seriously. I feel like you're going to be ready.
I don't want to toot my own horn. Office offered pizza for lunch today. We get catered meals on Thursdays.
threw
Shout
the
out.
box to the side.
Shout out. Catered lunches on Thursday. Shout out. No big deal. Pizza today. I said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm in a training camp. And the guy that was serving them up was like, hell yeah, GC. We're all behind you, baby. We're all behind you. And
I was like,
yeah.
sir, can I just have my
He's
slice
like,
of pizza?
You got to beat Brady. And then Rick's like, put the fries in the bag, bro.
Put the fries in the bag, bro. I'm just trying to get this fucking pizza.
Yeah, I mean, the office is behind me. It's going to be hostile territory when Brady comes in here. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be hostile territory.
I'm throwing this out there. May not be, accepted as an idea. I feel like we have to have a crowd. I feel like we need people around the bike for that one. I feel like we need to get people out of the seats and be like, there's something going on here, folks, and have an audience for it.
Yeah. That's
3 minutes of what?
People from the street, or is it like everyone is here at Yahoo?
Yeah, in the
Financial?
office, Frank.
Yeah, you're going to need a badge. You're going to need a badge to get in. You're
People
gonna,
from the
gonna have-
security is like from the.
Frank's going to walk in with
from
like 4
outside.
homeless guys and be like, I got a crowd.
What are you talking about, Frank?
They're like, come
Guys
here
are
for
gonna
that
be like-
pizza that he's not eating.
Guys are going to be like, you promised me a piece of pizza.
It's going to be a Wednesday, Frank. You know the schedule and you know the show. I mean, come on, get it together. We're not just letting.
All right, so it is going to be a Wednesday. I just need to
typing that in.
I just need to throw out like what
He's been looking for a date.
I've been dying
down
for
to
a date. I'm
Wednesdays.
dying, like I'm gonna have that date tattooed in my brain. Every crunch that I do, every mile that I get in on the bike, I'm just gonna be like February 19th or February 26th or potentially February 12th. Here, maybe even March 5th, March 5th, March 5th.
Yeah, we're just gonna. No, it's gonna be
I
in
don't-
February. We're gonna have to.
I don't
we're gonna
wanna
have to
poo-poo on
lock
this.
down with
February 26th.
But doesn't Sean have like a baby coming on the 13th of February? So I'm like, I feel like every time you're asking for a date, I'm like, bro, like even if he feels like he has a date, we gotta let him cook a little bit.
Islam Makhachev had a kid and was like, all right, see ya. Gotta
You
go
call
fight
up
for a
Miss
title.
Brady and tell
6
her
months.
that.
Sean Brady's
one
gonna-
call. 6 months. That one call.
Yesterday when he was explaining to Ariel like what his schedule will be like with fighting, with her taking 3 months, I'm like, this sounds like he's pitching his wife right now. Like, look, sweetheart, I'm gonna still be able to fight. Like, you have the 3 months off. Andy was over here shaking her head like he doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
Sean Brady's gonna have the kid and be like, all right, peace. I gotta go bike. He's literally going to bike out of the delivery room.
He's gonna have the baby
He's
on a
gonna
sling.
be parked on a bike and then be like, see ya. got a jet. And bike on
Or
out.
he's gonna come in and the baby's not here yet, and then he's gonna get a call while he's on the bike, and it's just, Sean, you gotta abort this bike challenge. And oh shit, do you win by default if that happens?
No. We just have to move it. But the ducking allegations are going to
Oh,
come
boy.
on strong.
Oh, boy.
The ducking allegations are going to come
I'm
on
gonna have
strong.
to hear a doctor. We need an actual doctor verified on the
We
phone.
need to see that baby crying. And then even then, it's just a quick trip, man. You can,
Yeah, just finish the 3 minutes and then
say
go.
you're running out for milk and come to the race.
That's it.
Or duck. Or
Wow.
run scared. Sean Brady.
Are you
or
giving
run
him like an
scared.
out? He can just get out right now if he's
If you
he's
want
feeling
the
it?
out, the kid, I'm too busy with the kid. We all got stuff,
I got 3.
I'm watching a Netflix series,
Oh.
I'm reading a book.
Those feel the same.
We all got things.
Those feel the
to
same.
do. No. I hope for a safe,
Yes,
happy,
of course. We
healthy
obviously
delivery.
want Sean and his
This is
wife
all-
have a
this is
happy
all,
and healthy baby.
Kayfabe, but not.
But not. It's very
Kayfabe,
serious.
but not. It is actually quite serious.
Don't duck.
Brady's coming for the belt, but no one's going to take that thing from me. All right. Last thing to get to, pound for pound.
2 things. We'll do this and we'll answer some questions. Don't forget, if you
love
haven't
the
already gotten
questions.
super chats in, get them in now.
Super
We'll answer.
chats. I'll hop in the chat as well. Just a man of the people. I love hopping in the chats. But because we're going to Philadelphia this weekend, we're going to be trying a bunch of different Philly cheesesteaks, which, in my opinion, is an elite sandwich. So for that reason, our pound for pound rankings this week will be the 5 best sandwiches. Your 5 favorite sandwiches, pound for pound, that stand up to each other. What are your 5 best? 5-1. You know the order. Frank, are you taking the honors? I don't know how we're going to do this.
I'm taking the honors.
You know that it's sandwiches, right?
Yep,
we're not going to get
absolutely.
this.
Ariel did this with you yesterday. He verified this.
You're not going to be like, oh, we're going to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
the
we
top 5
decided
cream cheeses.
Hot dogs are not sandwiches. Folded up pizzas, not sandwiches. We went through the whole thing. It's fine.
Well, I don't know who said
You
that.
had
part,
you had a stern talking to, didn't you?
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
never
it was-
seen you. I've never seen
He
you
just
this
texted
in
me
line.
5 minutes ago. He's like, nothing has changed.
I was so uncomfortable. I was crawling out of my skin.
All right. So coming in at my number 5 for my pound for pound sandwiches, the Monte Cristo from
Okay.
the restaurant specifically, Bennigan's.
From Bennigan's.
So, gotta have the
Let's-
Monte Cristo from Bennigan.
Okay, time. 2 things that I noticed. 1, I was expecting you to do a 311 song, so shout out to you for actually following the assignment. 2, do not ever use that sound effect again.
I don't want to. Am I being rude here? But what is Bennigan's?
Oh,
Bennigan's is like a chain restaurant.
well, I think
It sounds like
I don't
like
think
a
it
folk
exists
song.
anymore.
Isn't that the one from South Park?
Bennigan's.
Do you remember the movie Waiting?
Yeah.
It like they couldn't use the name in the movie Waiting, but that's basically the restaurant. It was and that's actually my introduction to the Monte Cristo. My brother worked as a waiter at Bennigan's when he was in like high school, and I came up there for lunch.
that
and
looks
I'm like,
really good.
I don't know what to get. He's like, get
Is
the
that-
Monte Cristo.
Is that beef for Bennigan's? Is that
So-
actually the shot of it from Bennigan's?
That's from Bennigan's. You
Oh,
see
wow, that
the
looks
B
pretty
in the
damn
back.
good.
Yo,
Yeah,
you
that
go
looks
you
pretty
go on their website, and the front page of this thing, fan favorite Monte Cristo.
Damn.
Fucking
People
hell.
know.
Wait, hold up. This used to be Steak and Ale, or is that part of their like
I think
branding?
it's part of their brand. Like they're in the family.
All right, so just a quick side note.
Yeah, let's do it.
Growing up, every time like work got hard or I was working like a bullshit job, I used to work at a golf course just doing grunt work and stuff. Every time work would get hard, my dad would be like, you know, Connor.
Don't play that anymore.
He'd be like, you know, Connor, growing up, I had a tough job. I washed dishes in the back of a Steak and Ale, sweating my ass off with no air conditioning for 16 hours at a time. And I was like, Dad, I don't know what the fuck Steak and Ale is. Stop telling me this. So just like seeing this Steak and Ale just like brought back so many crazy memories.
Just had a flashback to the lowest
Yeah,
moments
my dad
of your
was
life and your dad being like, suck it up, you little bitch.
Yeah, suck it up. I used to work at Steak and Ale. I was just like, I don't know what that is, Dad. What is that? So yeah, sorry to.
Is Steak and Ale the one that would cut your tie if you like wore a tie? There, is that a different place?
I'm not gonna lie. Anytime I heard Steak and Ale, I just started tuning things out.
Yeah.
I have my own little like side note, which is
great. Can you go ahead and put my list back up there, Jordan, just so they can narrate on top of it?
which is that Frank mentioned the movie Waiting. One of my first dates, I think my first date with my
Your
now
only date,
wife,
let's be honest.
Holly, shout out, love you, was to see that movie. And also, I'm fairly certain that like Butters from South Park always talks about going to Bennigan's. I'm fairly certain about that.
I swear there's a song
Is
about
Bennigan's
it.
still around?
I don't think so.
Bennigan's, Hennigans. Is that a song? Or
Now we just got demonetized.
Is this a
Thanks a lot.
Is this a fever dream that I had?
I've
Steak and
never-
Ale. Shut up.
Okay, so there was a Bennigan's on the Fly in Cherry Hill, but it recently closed. I was gonna say, let's go get Monte Cristos after the show.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the Monte Cristo is like dipped in an egg batter. It's lightly fried. It's got powdered sugar on it, and you dip it in like a raspberry sauce. I'm not really big into like sweet with my savory, but my brother was right. The day that he suggested it, he was like, "You should have this." I was like, "You know what? That's really good." I've only had it maybe once or twice since then.
Well, yeah, because they're all closed.
Yeah, they're all closed, and it's just it. Anyway, I should have a homemade one sometime and see how that goes. But at my number 4, speaking of homemade, is actually taking some Sausalito turkey from New York's own Boar's Head with some sharp cheddar. I actually don't know if they're from New York, but it's probably Vermont or something. Put it with some romaine, some tomato, a little bit of mayo, a couple dabs of hot sauce, specifically Tabasco. That's my go-to. And that's like my
So
staple.
this is not like a sandwich
This
as
is
much as
so
like dipping.
Specific.
I mean, I don't want to just say turkey.
Sausalito Boar's Head?
Have you had Sausalito?
Aren't you going to get listeria from the Boar's Head? Didn't that happen?
Easy. Let's not.
Look, I'm not trying to throw Boar's Head under the bus. My parents
Sales
are,
asked me
are
to
big
posture
supporters.
for Boar's Head support, and you just ruined it.
I'm just
So,
saying. Oh,
like,
coming
yeah.
from you is rich. Coming from you is rich, Frank. That is.
Whatever do
I'm
you
not
mean?
going to say things, but
No.
coming from you is rich.
I don't know if on your guys' list you did something like that, but for me, like if my wife is like, "What do you want for dinner?" I'm like, "I'm having a sandwich." Like this is what it is.
Okay, all right. So
That's
this is
what
like
I'm
your
getting at.
go-to at
staple.
home.
It's not like what kind of sandwich are you having. It's like this is the sandwich. There's
One day when this becomes the biggest show in history and everybody knows about all of us and Frank is there's statues with blurred faces for Frank. They're gonna have sandwiches on menus at places that are the Frank, and it's gonna be this
Sausalito turkey, cheddar cheese,
Sharp cheddar cheese.
sharp cheddar cheese, and what was the last one?
Mustard,
romaine, some tomato,
Romaine tomato.
mayo, a little bit of mayo, dabs of Tabasco hot sauce.
I'm a big
Louisiana's
Tabasco guy.
own.
All right.
I'm a huge Tabasco guy.
I can live with this being
is
your
fine.
specific
This is
sandwich.
fine.
I like that.
I love the scrutiny that you go.
It's
through my
fine.
list. It's
It's
fun.
fine. Go ahead.
I mean,
Keith.
after last week, you're gonna have to
go ahead to 3.
Coming in at number 3, this was a layup from used to be a good friend of mine. Now it's just a coworker. Connor Burks turned me on to the Wegmans organic veggie crunch sandwich. I have to tell the audience here, Connor knows that I like to eat a veggie. I've been known to have salad for breakfast from time to time.
No, you have it every day.
Every single day I walk in, you're eating like a rabbit.
And without fail, I'm always asked, why are you doing that? Anyway, he told me...
As you should be, by the way. Don't forget.
He told me from like the day we started at Yahoo, which is in the same building as Wegmans, for those that don't know. He was like, you got to try the veggie crunch sandwich. I'm like, that's really nice, Connor. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Then it was like every day, like, have you tried it? Have you tried it yet? I'm like, no, dude, I haven't. He's like, you got another sandwich. He's looking at me. I'm holding a sandwich in my hand. He's like, that's not the veggie crunch. I'm like,
Well,
you're
speaking
right,
of
it's
that's not the veggie crunch. That's not the veggie crunch up there. That was a little bit disrespectful to the veggie crunch.
That is
What was
the veggie crunch.
Was that a rye? Was that a rye swirl?
Yeah, you
bread?
haven't had it with the rye?
That's
literally
you haven't had it with the rye.
That is from
You have not had it with the rye. That is from some unknown
wow.
place. I had the veggie crunch today.
Google it.
Instead of the pizza,
Google
no
it.
big deal. I said, no thanks.
Wow.
No pizza for me. I don't need the grease. I don't need the fat. I don't need the dairy. I'll take the veggie crunch. Thank you.
They were like,
Can
but
I
sir, we
propose?
usually do a rye swirl. And you
Can
were,
I propose?
Lies.
The upstate probably has that
Maybe.
one. Rye, right? Rye, New York.
Yeah.
That, maybe that. And we don't have that. And that was either an error by Jordan or
I actually really appreciate you putting this, Frank, because
the
like
sprouts, the banana peppers, the
It's
tomato.
not
they
the
ma-
same bread though, because that's
it's-
not what we eat. We've all had it.
It's
I've
like
even, I've
like
even
a-
gone as far as, because I'm not going to lie. I mean, these things are like $9 a sandwich.
$10.99.
I
I had
don't
one
even-
today.
Try not to look. I just wince a little bit. But when you eat it, it's so good that
First time I had it, I was like,
I
what is
made
this?
my own. I made my own, and when I looked up the ingredients for what it was, and this is probably what happened, I went on their website, and it calls out rye, and it shows a stock photo of that. So I got a whole loaf of rye, made our own Thousand Island dressing, pickled our own onions. It was so good. It was
Pickled
so good.
your own onions?
Yeah, because they're lightly pickled.
Salute.
But here's the thing.
It didn't live up?
It didn't live up.
Wow, you did all that
Even
work and you could have just paid $10.99
Mrs.
down at the
Mysterious
Wegmans?
was like, some of this food's going bad in the fridge, and I couldn't help but notice a receipt in your pocket from Wegmans where you bought one, and I'm like, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
You've been cheating.
Yeah, that sandwich it's unbelievable. I think there was only a few options.
Thank you for. He's actually showing you the website here. That's where the photo came from.
No, we get it.
That's
not what we eat.
Yeah.
Inaccurate photo.
Well, maybe you're getting it from like the clearance bin. They're like, sir, come here.
Classic
We have the
marble rye available in select locations. It said that
Not
right there
ours.
on the thing.
We don't need
Not ours. We don't get that. Yeah, first time I had it, I think they were out of options. Now I'm hooked. The first time I had it, I was on the train eating it, and I was like, wait, this is incredible. I can't believe how good this
Wegmans been
is.
doing that with everything. Like everything that we get there regularly, they're like, we're gonna see what happens when we don't have it on the shelf, and then it turns into content for them because we've just been talking about it all day. All right, so
I also had it, and it's pretty damn good.
It is quite good.
Thank you for that. So coming in at number 2 is a torta, specifically
Nice.
from.
Okay, we gotta get specific.
I love the specific.
Oh, I'm
part
sorry.
of it.
Just
continue.
Okay. There's a place in Phoenix, Arizona, which is called Tortas Paquime. It's kind of close to Central Phoenix. I read about it in the New Times newspaper in Phoenix. For those that are local to the area will know it's kind of just a little rag that recommends little mom and pop places. I go there. I have no real expectation. I get the Torta Paquime, which is what it's called on the menu. It's slow roasted pork, some cheese, tomato, avocado slices, and then roasted jalapeno. You eat this thing, and it's just an explosion of flavor in your mouth. It's amazing. And I've only been noticing that this restaurant has taken off since then. Like, it used to be maybe it could seat 3 people. Now it's, like, got patio seating. Like, full families could come in there. It's great. When I went and got this photo, I was like, damn. Like, we have gone from basically what was somebody's kitchen to, like, a full restaurant now. So those
This is your photo.
No,
No
this is from their
shot. No
website.
shot. It looks good.
It's
Looks
amazing.
good. Yeah.
So
I
for
believe
those
you.
in the Phoenix, Arizona area, please, Tortas Paquime. You won't regret it at all. So coming in at number 1 is another homemade, kind of nostalgic more than anything, and it's literally something that we referenced before on the show. It's a dinner roll with some roasted turkey after Thanksgiving dinner with some, like, French's yellow mustard on there. It doesn't need to be anything special. This photo is a lie. Like, that seems like more effort has been put into that. Like, I'm going to be honest, when I make those sandwiches, like, usually I'll have it maybe after the dinner or maybe later that night, stick some of the turkey in the microwave, eat a cold one while waiting on the turkey to like, warm up. It's like, what is going on here?
You don't
become
leave the
a
kitchen.
sandwich factory.
You don't make a plate. Like, it's just like you throw
you're
it together.
standing up, crumbs are on the ground, you're like, whatever. That's a day after Thanksgiving problem, right?
Now we're talking.
There we go. That's
Love
my
it.
list.
I
love it.
Yeah,
No hot dog.
good list. Like, very personal.
Specific. I don't know if it's going to resonate with the audience as much because it's
Resonate
so
like
specific.
a harp?
I'm also just like fascinated by the idea that you have the sandwich that you're like, this is my sandwich. I make this sandwich. This is this sandwich. And then there's just like other stuff above, like the thing that you actually like know and make and is your thing. A little bit odd, but good list overall. You got the assignment.
No hot dog. Jonah Friedman said hot dog and a pita in pound for pound number 1 sandwich. Slam it on some hummus.
I think that's a reference to
5 best sandwich you could ever have.
Hummus pita hot dog?
That's the thing about these, pound for pound lists is they're subjective.
Wait, no, I think that's a reference to Ariel.
That's what I
isn't
was.
it?
I don't know if
I
Ariel
think it
said
is.
hummus though. Like
Did he actually say hot dog and a pita? Did I miss
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
You've
his,
said
his
it
mom
more than
brought
once.
it out and he got all embarrassed. He's like, Mom, no, not the hot dogs and the
He's told the
pita.
story
I
a few
missed this
times.
day. I think I missed this day of school.
Yeah, he started
It's been
crying.
a couple
He
of
soiled
days.
himself in front of all of his friends.
Oh, Jesus.
I
All right,
even
Rick,
asked
you do
him
your
to
five.
use mustard.
Is it
he was
me?
like, we had ketchup.
Let's Jordan. On air, Jordan. Is it me?
He's saying yes, it's you.
Okay.
Hey, Tex says he fucks with your list, Frank.
Good.
It's a good list.
All right, go ahead.
Backpedal now.
Impressive job, Frank. I'm glad you're with us this week.
Can you get on with your list?
No. This is coming from, we had 16,000 words on the torta from this one little
It
place.
is a really damn good. What are you gonna put PB&J?
I was falling asleep over here.
Egg sandwich.
I almost started snoring.
It's funny you say that because someone on the chat earlier was like, "My man Rick looks like he never sleeps."
Yeah,
And, like,
3 kids, man. A lot of work, too.
That one almost put me to sleep. The explanation of the torta. Number 5, New York staple. I know this might be controversial within the New York circles. We're a sausage, egg, and cheese over bacon, egg, and cheese. Don't play that fucking sound.
there are too many cooks in the kitchen. I have been told to play it.
Veto. Do not play
You're
this
being
sound.
vetoed by the exec senior vice producer right here.
This one's coming from the
I do not want to
president.
hear that 15 times.
Wow, it's coming from the senior presidential
Acting
exec
as, acting
producer.
as, yeah.
Acting as. Who's the CPO, Chief Producing Officer?
Connor, do you like that sound?
That's my new one. Chief Producing Officer. Jordan, if we could update the credits, CPO. Thank you.
Are you okay with that sound?
I don't know. I'm indifferent on it.
No sound. Sausage, egg, and cheese. New York staple. You either go sausage, you either go bacon. I've heard some people say ham. I feel like that's in a different, like you're in a different universe when you're talking that. It's
that's
either
like McMuffin territory.
It's either sausage or bacon. I'm a sausage guy. Classic.
You know what? I always do bacon. I think I'm gonna have to try sausage.
Sausage is the way for me. I understand.
I love a good sausage.
I understand the bacon people out there. Bacon, egg, and cheese is great, but Kaiser roll, sausage, egg, ketchup.
And we're talking sausage patty, not sausage links.
Yeah, sausage patty. The traditional aluminum foil. You know, the New York.
So specific.
No, it's pretty general. It's pretty generic, actually. Number 4, banh mi. Had to find it. Had to find the Asian angle here, the Asian sandwich. Vietnamese sandwich, hard, crunchy bread, pate in the middle, although you can go chicken. You can sometimes go chicken cutlets. You can go steak, beef. Woo! There's all kinds of different ones.
Versatile.
Super versatile. But you go with the pate. That's the traditional one. Lots of nice veggies in there. Daikon, other kinds of stuff. Tremendous. If you've never had, highly recommend.
Do you use a condiment? Like this one in the picture, but like I've never actually had it with a condiment before.
Curious where you were going with that.
No. No, I typically just eat it. Most of the time they have enough like mayo, spicy mayo sauce kind of on there that it doesn't need anything additional. It's usually well constructed, and the pate is usually soft. Like it's a amazing sandwich. Number 3, lobster roll, baby. If I see that on a menu, woo!
Great choice.
You know that you're getting that bad boy, unless it's my number 2 or my number 1. And I'm a Maine lobster guy. I'm a cold.
Yeah.
I'm a cold lobster.
Cold with the mayo.
Cold with the as opposed to like the vinegar.
The butter.
Hot butter.
I think that's Connecticut. Maine is
That's
cold
Connecticut.
with the
I like the cold with the mayo. It's just great. Like I love seafood. I love lobster. Oh, you're gonna put it on some really nice toasted bread like that. Like,
and
we're talking.
It's so, to me, especially if you're getting the Maine with the cold with the mayo in the height of the summer. It's nothing hits better.
No.
So there are some that are actually eaten warm. I don't think I've ever had a lobster.
Yeah. So instead of the cold with the mayo, you get the hot with the butter.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's really like just like hot butter lobster, but they just throw it on a roll.
That's
Stuff it in a roll.
yeah.
Wow. All right. I mean, it sounds good, but not what I envision when I'm thinking of a lobster roll.
It's like almost the same.
Update your lobster envisionments.
I gotta try some. Gotta try some places then.
Update your lobster envisionments. Okay, number 2. Another I tried to, Frank went very specific, right? A sandwich that he's concocted
You were talking about the
and made
fucking
up.
foil that comes with your
This
sandwich.
is tougher than I.
Yeah, Frank. Every single sandwich in the city comes with that foil.
And a
Meanwhile,
straw.
you're doing the fucking sandwich from Wegmans.
Sausalito
You don't even
Boys
have the
had.
right bread. It's not even the sandwich we've been eating. I mean,
This
get out of here
one
with
was
this.
tougher than I expected. Almost as tough as it is to spell lobster.
Oh,
one of the hardest words to spell. Like that.
The all shit I just heard in this control room.
LOBTER.
The lobster. Listen, the lobster roll is one of my favorites. It's actually the thing I make at home.
You copy and pasted it from his text. You said.
I tried to make this. There we go.
Yeah, leave
Shout
it
out.
up there. Give it a little character. Give it a little character.
I tried to make this general, right? Frank went very specific.
general as
These are kind of staples.
Ideas of sandwiches.
Number 2, lox bagel. Come on.
Okay.
Bagel.
2 breakfast sandwiches in there.
Oh,
respect.
Breakfast sandwiches are great. I'm a big eat a breakfast sandwich at night guy. Eat a breakfast sandwich in the morning. Anytime.
Breakfast around the clock for me.
Lox bagel doesn't need no further explanation required. Bagel, cream cheese, lox. I mean, it's just
Love it.
It's divine.
Very curious what we're about to get for 1.
Yeah, I didn't think this was controversial, but then Jordan informed me that maybe this was.
Whoa.
He was feeling it was controversial.
He just turned to me and said, "This one's not a sandwich."
Well, we can debate. Number 1, lamb gyro. Lamb gyro.
Wow, is that a
Gyro
sandwich?
or gyro? Clear it up.
Is that a sandwich?
Let's talk. What?
This feels more like a wrap.
Are wraps not sandwiches?
I've never considered them in the same category as sandwiches.
So now a hot pocket
I feel like you can eat them in similar circumstances, but they're not.
What is the definition then?
Oh my god! We literally said we were going
always
to
thought
avoid
2 pieces
this.
of bread with a bunch of shit in the middle.
So if I cut the pita, is it a sandwich?
Pita bread?
Oh, come on. Pita's bread.
I guess it's called pita bread.
If I cut the pita, is it a sandwich?
Are gyros and pitas?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not up on my Euro game.
Is it flour tortilla?
Is it a flour
piece of
tortilla?
bread?
No. He's saying
He's
asking for like
Is naan bread
Let's
now?
let's go to Google. Is Euro are Euros on naans? Do they do that?
I mean, you throw some curry on a piece of
What are we
naan.
gonna
Hey,
get
I'm having an Indian
Are
sandwich.
we gonna get a doner kebab next?
Yeah.
Donut,
a jelly donut is now a sandwich.
Here we go. Here we go. Official rolling from Google. Yes, a Euro is a sandwich.
That's bullshit.
It's a Greek sandwich made with meat, vegetables, and tzatziki sauce on pita bread.
When Jordan called this out, I went so deep as to go to Reddit, and I saw on Reddit that somebody said, actually in Greece, they call it pita sandwich with lamb. So
I'll allow it. Great call.
Pita.
Great call. Love a good Euro.
Gyro is fucking incredible.
Lamb Euro. Gyro? Euro? How do you pronounce this?
I think officially they call it Euro.
Who's they?
But in Greece, like, but I call it gyro. I've just, and anywhere I go, most of the time, Long Island diners, I'm like, that's mine. I want the gyro. So, lamb, tzatziki, pita, a little bit of onions,
white onion. Yeah,
yeah. We're in good shape when I see that on the menu. So if I see these things, I try to do it so like if I saw all of these things on a menu, what am I going for first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this is how it shook
lettuce,
out.
tomato.
So if they have that, I'm not super keen on that. I do the staples have to be the lamb, the tzatziki, the pita. If you put the onions, I'm definitely down. If you put some of like the cucumbers and things like that, I'm still down.
Kalamata olives?
Maybe not there. Maybe on the side Greek salad that we get.
Okay.
Maybe that's on the side, but I'll eat it anyway. But that's the way. It's a sandwich. It's a sandwich.
You put some hot sauce on it, right?
No hot sauce on that.
Speaking of sandwiches, I've been putting my hands up like this. Whopper Jr. hands. Whopper Jr. is a sandwich.
What is Whopper
That's a
Jr.
good
hands?
point, yeah.
I never seen the commercial.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whopper Jr. hands over here. You know what that means? All right,
Take that, Jordan.
top 5 pound for pound sandwiches. I'm actually going to take Frank's number 1 Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. There really is just few things better. You get this. Mine is not as simple as Frank's. He just does the turkey and the mustard on a roll. I'm going turkey, stuffing, mayo, cranberry sauce, maybe a little cheese, toast the bread. I'm making a real thing. It's just unbelievable. It's just you get all the flavors is in between the bread. If there are places like restaurants that have this, don't even care if it's not Thanksgiving, I'll order it. A little side of gravy to dunk it in, make it like a French dip, but it's a Thanksgiving leftover dip. Sign me up. If you really want to get crazy, you make a cranberry mayo.
Oh wow!
I mean, it's mouth watering. It's good stuff. Shout out to Thanksgiving leftover sandwiches. Number 4, similar to Rick's 5, I believe it was. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Great way to start your morning. Great way to start your morning.
Yeah.
Get it on a roll. Get it on a bagel. I don't care. Look at that. Eggs fried to perfection. A little bit of yolk spilling out. Maybe a little spicy mayo on there. I am not. One thing I will say, leave the ketchup at home. Leave the ketchup at home.
Really?
Don't need it. Don't need it. I gave up on the ketchup on eggs when I was 8. Don't need it. Hot sauce, spicy mayo, something like that. Just tremendous. Every time, it's a big New York thing. Every time you go into a bodega or a restaurant, and you're just like, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. They're like, salt, pepper, ketchup. I'm like,
save it.
No ketchup.
But then they still
Don't eat
manage
the
to give you a straw somehow.
Don't need the ketchup.
Was
You
this-
just get the bacon, egg, and cheese, and like, here's your straw, sir.
Was this anything in the neighborhood before you came to New York? Like in Atlanta, are you guys eating these sandwiches?
Bacon, egg, and cheeses, yeah, but they don't ask if you want ketchup on it.
Okay, but that was like mornings every once in a
For
while.
sure.
You're popping by the deli, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, see, like delis weren't as big of a thing. Like small little like corner markets with little delis. Nah, you would just go to like a breakfast restaurant and get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Cool.
Or like, I mean, I'm not above it. McMuffins, sausage McMuffin. I mean, it's just like, breakfast sandwiches with the egg, cheese, meat combo in it.
Yeah.
Whatever the carrier for that is, that's up to you. English muffin, sourdough, pita, if you want to. If you're crazy in the mornings, pita, naan, bagel, whatever it may be, you choose. You decide.
Try the sausage and let me know.
Number 3, let's head down south. Shrimp po' boy. Get it on a long roll.
Wow.
Long roll, a little bit of fried shrimp on there. You get the remoulade on there, the aioli, that little spicy sauce with the lettuce, the tomato. If you get a good shrimp po' boy, it is hard to top. You get the right bread, you get the nicely fried shrimp with a great sauce on there. It's hard to top.
I might have bumped sausage, egg, and cheese for that. I think I messed up.
Me and Frank, we did a Louisiana fight feast for Poirier last June, and we had a po' boy that was absolutely out of this world. Like when they are on, they are on.
Yeah,
they are unbelievable. Number 2, it's where we're going this weekend. Similar to the po' boy, when they are elite in my opinion. Philly cheesesteak. Get some good steak in there. You get the good cheese, maybe a little mayo on there as well, just to moisten it up a little more. Proper bread, onions, peppers. When these are good, these are cream of the crop. I'm not talking steakums. Shout out to Steakums, but not really. Fuck Steakums. Real Philly cheesesteak.
Shout out, another sponsor.
Yeah, potential sponsor. Brought to you by Steakums. I'm sure they're backing up the Brinks truck for that one. Real Philly cheesesteak.
Provolone cheese whiz?
No, yeah, that's the thing. Are we doing cheese or whiz?
I'm provolone, but like if everyone in Philly is gonna be like, you should have got it with the whiz. I can do whiz, but like I want the provolone.
Okay.
Someone actually said in the chat earlier, they were like, the cheesesteak go here people are annoying. But just the phrasing of the cheesesteak go here.
Like this is where you should go for a cheesesteak?
Yeah, like they're describing that's just the kind of person. Is a cheesesteak go here.
I'm with that. I don't like the territorial, like when the people are like, New York pizza, no, everything sucks. You got to go to my spot. Like I do hate that. Yeah. But I do appreciate recommendations. I'm all for the recommendations.
I'm really hoping
but Two Boots really is the place to go.
No, it's not though.
I'm really hoping of the 4 we go to, there's one that just stands above the rest this weekend.
Man, Angelo's is gonna be hard to top. I'll tell you.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it. And then number 1, the fact that this wasn't on either of y'all's lists, I mean, it's a Southern staple. It's an absolute classic. It is a go-to for so many people, so many restaurants, and that is the fried chicken sandwich.
I knew you were going to say that.
Come on, man. A couple pieces of bread, a nice fried filet. You get a couple pickles on there. Got to have mayo on it. You got to have too much mayo on it. Buttery. This is obviously the GOAT. Chick-fil-A does it unbelievably. Zaxby's does it well. Zaxby's used to have a game day filet that was just unreal. Restaurants do it well. I mean, it's simple. It's easy. Couple pieces of brioche maybe. A delightfully fried piece of chicken. Some sort of mayo, spicy, whatever you want to do. Couple pickles. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. My go-to back in the day, Chick-fil-A was on my college meal plan. 2 chicken sandwiches, large waffle fry, Oreo milkshake, down the hatch, gone. Probably like 3,200 calories, but all-time meal. Absolutely love it. Fried chicken sandwiches, my pound for pound number 1.
These are great. I feel like there's some staples that we left off. I'm curious how you feel. So,
yeah, this was difficult.
Grilled cheese? How do we feel about it?
Grilled cheese is good, but I'm taking all 5 of mine over it.
Same. I felt like strong contender, but like if I saw it on a menu, it's not making the cut. It's not making the cut.
You want to know what I waffled between Thanksgiving leftovers and my number 6?
PB&J.
Nah.
What?
Egg salad sandwich.
Okay.
Love.
They are good.
A good egg salad sandwich. A good egg salad sandwich is very difficult to beat.
Sausage, egg, and cheese just bumped egg salad sandwich.
Dude, egg salad sandwich, when they are made properly, maybe you toss a couple slices of bacon on there if you're feeling crazy. Hot sauce, white bread, good white bread, maybe sourdough. Good egg salad sandwich, divine.
Here are 2 that were hard for me to keep off, but ultimately, like, they didn't feel like anytime I see it, they felt more like I like to check in on these from time to time. Reuben.
Reuben was up there. Gotta love the coleslaw, the corned beef, the rye. I'm with you.
And the Cuban.
Love a good Cuban. Will never be a staple for me.
It can't be the staple.
Can't be a staple.
But when you do have the good one, when you occasionally do get it, it really hits.
PB&J also.
PB&J.
A PB&J with like a tall glass of milk. Whoop. You're talking really dirty to me now.
Tomato sandwiches?
Tomato sandwiches isn't bad. That's very specific, like summertime.
So sorry.
Cut, nice sourdough, nicely cut heirloom tomatoes, mayonnaise. Crack the pepper. Crack the pepper on there. Mayo. Crack the salt. Duke's mayo.
Rye.
Summer. Maybe a glass of rosé in the summer with my tomato sandwich. Now we're talking. Frankie, love a good tomato sandwich. Another sneaky one. Chicken salad sandwich. Love
That's
a good
one.
chicken salad sandwich. You guys grapes?
That's what I'm having tonight.
Grapes in your chicken
no,
salad?
hell no.
What?
And
No.
the fact that you just said that. This
I'll
whole
do a
bit
little
is-
grape.
No.
I'm going
Toss a grape
A
in there.
Waldorf chicken
Throw a
salad
grape in there.
sandwich? Get out of here.
I'm going egg salad over chicken salad all day.
Step back. Hesitation. Grape.
No.
In the chicken salad. Couple grapes.
No.
Couple walnuts.
No, we're passing on that.
I would. You could bring me a chicken salad
Chives?
sandwich. Like, Frank, I made this for you. Take a bite. There's grapes. I'm throwing it away. I'm sorry.
Pass.
I don't mind the grapes.
Pass.
Don't mind the
That's
grape.
up there with Euro is now a sandwich.
Don't mind a grape.
Frank, what's a sandwich? Tell me.
Not that.
Why not?
In fact, that's the definition. Sandwich is an item that is not a Euro.
So there are no locations up here, but there were some restaurants down in Georgia called the Chicken Salad Chick, and it was just all different types of chicken salad sandwiches.
What is the change? Like, how are they changing it? What is the just like different like? This one has
They're adding
celery.
grapes,
this one
they're putting
doesn't. Like,
walnuts.
how do you change it?
Yeah, so I'm trying to pull up the menu. Chatting.
It's back.
It's back. We're back.
We're back.
All right. All right. Audio is back. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Things happen. But what I was saying, I don't know, before we lost the chicken salad chick, how do they change up the chicken salad?
How do they change it?
Like barbecue, a hickory smoked barbecue flavor that is true to please. Classic Carol, which is just the classic one. Olivia's Old South, sweet pickles and egg in it as well. Fancy Nancy, Fuji apples, seedless grapes, pecans. I was a Fancy Nancy guy. Lauren's lemon basil. You're adding some fresh basil and lemon to it. And then you kind of get crazy with the Sassy Scotty, a zesty blend of ranch, bacon, and shredded cheddar cheese.
Yeah, that
in
one's
it.
a hard pass.
Buffalo Barclay. You just add buffalo sauce to it. Jalapeno holly. You just add a bunch of jalapenos to it. Either way, chicken salad sandwiches are great.
You said you were the one with the apple?
Yeah, apple.
Yeah, that's a good move. Apple, see, grape? Nah, we're not doing that.
Oh, it's apple and grape. A
Apple?
little bit of moisture. A little bit of flavor.
No grape. Apple, we're in.
Last one I'm going to throw out that is also a Southern staple, pimento cheese sandwich.
I've heard of this. I've never had one.
Fucking hell. They're so good. It's just like a glob of like, I don't even know what all's in it. It's like pimentos, which is like a type of pepper, shredded cheddar cheese, mayo, and it's just like all combined, and it's just incredible. And you throw it on a couple pieces of sourdough. Love eating that in the spring. It's fantastic.
Love it.
Any other honorable mentions?
The pimento cheese one is a really good one.
I think Jordan had
Pimento
some,
cheese.
right?
Pimento cheese, shout out.
Quesadilla?
Is a quesadilla a sandwich? That is foul
See,
play.
now you're
That is
you're
foul
now you're
play. That is
skirting
way
the-
out there. A sandwich for a quesadilla?
Nah.
I'm gonna
If
say.
a genre was a sandwich.
Yo.
A quesadilla, 2 pieces of bread, cheese in the middle.
That's not bread. That's not bread. At least the
Neither is
pita is
pita.
bread.
Neither is pita. No.
Pita's not bread?
It's just pita.
It's called pita bread.
Yeah.
It's
That's
called
what we
pita
call
bread.
it. It's just pita.
No,
All
it's pita bread.
All right, listen, I have to say a couple of shouts in the chat that are quite good. Tarzan, a burger is a sandwich. A burger is a sandwich. I'll agree with
A
that.
burger is a sandwich.
Peanut butter and banana, that's a solid one.
Yep.
Lazy bed. Lazy
What
bed,
did
this
Lazy
is a
Bed
great
say?
one.
Have any of you ever had the Elvis PB&J?
Yes, I have. Peanut butter and honey, right?
I have. It is great. And
with
banana, I think.
bacon in it.
Bacon, that's right.
Lazy bed said no barbecue sandwiches on here is crazy. I love a good pulled pork sandwich. It's a good call.
Okay, here's the thing with that. There's not a specific one, right? If I had a pulled pork, but then I'd be like, oh, maybe I want a brisket sandwich. Like, it's too wide a scope, but I am a fan of all the barbecue sandwiches.
Robert says, what about a good old bologna sandwich?
Nah, not making the list.
I'm passing, brother. I'm passing. Chopped cheese.
We're turkey. We're turkey.
Alborz says chopped cheese. Shout out. Oh, another great one. Nick Lejean Van Amstel, BLT. Yeah, G Cruz hopping in there with the BLT. Yeah, I'm
That's
with you.
another one that,
Solid.
adulterated, like adding stuff. It's
No,
just a BLT.
It's such a staple, man. Nice.
But here's the question.
Nice little sourdough. Yep.
Are you a mayo BLT or a yellow mustard BLT?
Mayo.
Mayo. The fact that you even proposed
You
yellow
guys are
mustard.
big mustard guys, huh?
No, you are.
No,
a big
you're
mustard
you're
guy.
you're a mustard freak. You take it across the line. You're way too you're mustard man over there.
This is
a mustard on a BLT.
Do you want to know?
You're
Just
you're
because
mustard man.
because
We
this
have to-
is
we
this
have
is
to talk about
exposing
this.
this that I didn't. It's one of those things. Like it wasn't until I moved after Texas and I realized that Frito pie is exclusive to Texas. Where I'm
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know
looking
about that.
around. I'm like, hey, why is no one eating a Frito pie? It's like, bro, that's only in Texas.
I
So
had
I don't know
no
if it's a
idea.
regional thing, but here's as big of a problem it is. Like I don't like mayo and mustard together. So sometimes when I have a BLT, I cut it in half. One half gets mayo, one half gets mustard. So in effect, I'm having basically two sandwiches, but different condiments on one because I don't want them mixed.
Chicken katsu, just a nice panini. You know, you head to the Italian restaurant, you're not really in the mood for pasta. You're not really in the mood for pizza. And then you look down in the corner of the menu, paninis. This seems interesting. Nice panini. Shout out.
The nice accent you got there.
Club, chicken club.
Classic.
However you want to do it, and it comes in those little triangles, and it's got the toothpick through it, and it's like 6 inches tall, and you gotta.
Have you heard the Mitch Hedberg? Like, how did they come up with the club sandwich? Like, what was the initial club for that?
What was the club?
It's like, how do you feel about little toothpicks? Like, I'm for them. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Good joke.
I'm for
I
'em.
bet it was better when Mitch told it though.
Yeah.
Jamaican beef patty.
Never even heard of.
And then we're getting into the territory.
Now
there's
we're
like
getting like
calzones.
pockets. Yeah,
The
see, that's
calzones
where I'm
count.
out.
Is an empanada a sandwich? Because
No,
if that's the
no,
case,
no,
that's
no.
my one.
I mean, but you know
No.
what Hot Pocket is.
No, it's not. Not a hot pocket.
Frito pie? No way.
No.
No.
Sloppy Joe. Sloppy
Yeah,
Joe is
that's
a
a good
classic. Gotta have love for the slop. BLT on rye bread, mayo, dash of paprika. KK know what he is doing. Focaccia bread, grilled chicken and cheese. Anything that you throw avocado on, I'm gonna have a good time with as well. Wow. Benny Avina sends in a super chat, $2. Mustard over mayo, and that's the bottom line.
I
Frank,
respect it.
Frank, we appreciate the $2, man. Ribeye steak sandwich. We could go all day with this. Prosciutto sandwich with mozzarella, tomato, and basil.
Spicy
We could go all day.
Italian, mixing lots of different meats. That's my cold
Yeah.
go-to. That's my cold
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah, you going to a deli. What are you getting? I'm getting a couple chicken
I get a
cutlets.
spicy.
Chicken parm sandwich, a meatball sub. We didn't even mention that. There's so many good sandwiches out there. The world of sandwiches are endless, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah. Shout out to the sandwiches.
Chicken tikka roll from Petrol Station. Kyle Marsh, you're on one, brother. Dave Sandine, I feel like we could just go all day. Ice cream sandwich.
Oh, fuck.
Love a good ice cream sandwich.
That might have been the way I could have diversified
Yeah.
the list. I fucked up.
Love a good ice
Bluebell
sandwich is a good one.
ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, Bluebell ice cream sandwich. Shout out.
So I think we learned today like lots of different sandwiches. We all love it.
Yeah.
Jordan was wrong. Gyro is a sandwich.
Not only is gyro a sandwich that Google confirmed, and Evans put up a poll, 60% of the fans said that gyro can be a sandwich.
And we also introduced the lobster. So we've had a busy day.
Love a good lobster roll.
Yeah.
Love a good lobster roll. Oh, last one.
Uh-huh.
Just a nice French ham and cheese. And I didn't have a proper respect for it until I went to France. And then, like, even on the plane, they're like, hey, here's a ham and cheese. Bite into it. I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is fantastic. Never had a proper respect until I went over there.
I like it, but give me a Cuban instead, you know?
Yeah, of course. Nutella sandwich. We could go all day. All right, some super chats.
Yeah, let's do super chats.
Chase, $4.99. Thank you so much, Chase. We really appreciate that. He says, my guy Pizzi, what are you hearing over the pond about John versus Tom? Tell me you're hearing positive things.
I don't think we have Pizzi anymore.
Unfortunately, Pizzi is gone, Chase, but I will say, last I heard, he doesn't seem too up.
Yeah, he was on the Monday, Tuesday. We had him on, and we were talking about this with Ariel earlier, and I don't think there's an update. And to be honest, like, no news is bad news at this point, right? Like,
Yeah.
the less we continue to hear about this fight, the more pessimistic I get. This would have been one that, if it was bound to happen, there's nothing stopping it at this point other than money. So it's not happening.
just in between the super chats because they're just flying in. Any sandwich on a croissant, says Carly. Shout out. Here's a great one from Lazy Bed. Lazy Bed is just pulling them out today.
But Jordan's going to say you can't cut the croissant and then it's not a sandwich because it's not bread.
You can't cut a
Croissant
croissant.
works. Croissant's good.
Chicken.
How is croissant good but not pita? Get out of here.
Chicken salad on a croissant is simply unbelievable. And then lastly, is s'mores a sandwich?
Oh shit! That just blew my mind.
My vote is yes. It has to be. That might make my top
No,
5.
because then you could just take anything, and if you put it in between anything else.
But graham crackers are adjacent to bread. It's like a hard bread.
Man.
Just regular
But then
crackers with cheese.
Then is like a taco a sandwich? See, this is how we get into that stupid is a hot dog a sandwich thing.
Yeah.
If you fold your pizza, does it become a sandwich?
I don't think so.
All right, I don't want to go down this road. I'm
Garrett
Well,
Clemens
you said
says French
yesterday,
dip.
and yet-
Shout out to French dip.
French
and
dip.
This is my annual stand on business for Arby's roast beef. Their French dip even is quite good. Shout out to Arby's. Don't love it, but it gets properly disrespected among the public. I will stand for Arby's every day of the week.
Shout out Arby's. Come.
Boys
Lion's
in the back.
choice
Boys in
is
the
the
back.
better
Waiting for it. I thought you were going to say something crazy. Bronco berry dipping sauce with a jalapeno poppers, real ones. No.
It's called Bronco Berry?
Yeah, have a little fun with it. Cowboys, Arby's, everything like that. Jamocha shake, real ones. No. And then just a beef and cheddar. Curly fries. You go to the frozen food department and you're getting curly fries. You're getting the Arby's curly fries. It's just disrespected. That's all I'm saying. It's not my favorite place on earth. I haven't been in probably a decade, but it's disrespected.
I'm going to say, for not having been in a decade, you have a pretty extensive menu.
For Arby's. Jalapeno
menu
poppers,
understanding.
Bronco berry sauce. That's how you start the day. Then you get a beef and cheddar with curly fries to go. And then on the way out, you got to get the horsey radish dipping sauce for the curly fries and the sandwich. It's unbelievable. And then on the way out, get a Jamocha shake. It's a proper meal.
Do they actually call it horsey radish?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a little fun with the sauces.
That's
What are you
kinda
saying?
horsey sauce.
Bronco
That's kinda
berry,
horsey sauce.
horsey radish.
It's
Jamocha
horsey
shake.
sauce.
It's Bronco berry. So it's like a berry flavor?
It's like a berry sauce that goes nicely with the cream cheese stuff, jalapeno poppers.
Holy shit.
Have you guys had Portillo's, like the Chicago?
Yes.
I
Yes, I
They have
have.
a dipping sandwich.
Yes.
All I'm saying is put a little respect on Arby's name. All right. Kowloon City, $10.
Oh,
Thank
here
you,
we go.
Kowloon City. Rick's arch nemesis. He says, GC, I as well have beaten Eric in an athlete competition. I've hit 2 game winners right in his grill. Welcome to the club, pal. Let me know when you want to race a 5K. Easy work.
Okay. It is actually true. He did hit a shot in my face. The party's not mentioning it's a game of 21, so it wasn't.
So
it
you
wasn't
met
1-on-1.
Kowloon City in person.
Yes, in New Jersey. And
Shout out.
He's not telling lies, but he's kind of fudging the truth a little bit.
Brian William Smith says, on the way out, you got to ring the bell in Arby's. That's a great shout. You got to ring the bell. You got to get in a nice firm stance too before you do it. They have a bell that you thank them for their service.
That anybody can just ring?
If it was good service, you ring the bell. And you, as you're walking out, get in a nice firm stance and just ring that thing, baby.
I've been to a few Arby's, and thank God nobody's just sitting there like hammering the bell.
You hammer the bell if it was good service, and then everyone cheers. Everyone goes crazy, man. It's a good time. Shout out to Arby's. But I have to just go to Arby's. Maybe on the road tomorrow. Who knows? Jonah Friedman mentioned the hot dog and the pita. Tech, he fucks with Frank's list. Hasib Nabheel, $10 Canadian. Where does Islam Makhachev rank all time if he were to retire right now? Also, where would Usman be? Also, would Usman be a top 5 lightweight if he were in the UFC now? Usman or Nurmagomedov?
What was the first question?
Where would Islam rank all time if he were to retire right now?
For lightweights?
Yeah.
I have him 1 already, so he's 1 for me.
All time?
Yeah, he's 1 for me.
Yeah.
If a resume is better than Habib's.
And BJ Penn?
BJ Penn is not about the resume. Both Habib and Islam, I think, have better resumes than BJ. For BJ, it's the prime, right? BJ in his prime was one of the better boxers that the UFC had, one of the best grapplers that the UFC had, and had insane takedown defense. Like, if you've ever seen the old highlight reels, he's hopping around on one leg while guys are trying to shoot on him, and he just like can't be taken down.
I need to just go through the records on BJ Penn.
You need to see, because he's become like a bit of a controversial figure and also kind of a meme, but like in his prime, BJ was an absolute monster and had the complete game. He was one of the more like complete MMA fighters at that time. So for BJ, the argument is more the prime. For me, the resume speaks for itself when it comes to Islam, and just quite frankly, like the skill set, we talked about it. It's a very difficult thing to solve when he can strike with the best strikers and he can grapple with the best grapplers. and he wins against them in their own phases. This is kind of what John Jones has always been able to do, which is fascinating, is like he can out-wrestle the best wrestlers and he can outstrike the best strikers. That's when you can do that, you are the best. Like that is the definition of being the best. Whereas somebody like a GSP to me found what is the easiest path to victory? What are you worst at? Because I'm going to be better than you there and I'm going to make the fight happen there. And that was his style, right? If you can't stop my wrestling, I'm going to wrestle you. If you can't stop my striking, I'm going to beat you in the striking. So that was kind of the way I thought of him. Islam, he's boxing with Dustin. He's grappling with Charles. Like he has everything. And then you look at the resume, and to me, his wins are better than Khabib's, especially when it came to once you entered the title picture and the title defenses. So I've got him 1.
So beyond lightweight, where would you rank him?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Top 10?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
He's probably already close to that, if not there. And by the end of it, if he gets a second belt, he's in the conversation for one of the best ever.
I think for sure he's top 15. I'd obviously have to go through the list. I think he's top 15 cemented, like of all time.
Yeah, I'm not good with like
top
recalling.
10, I need to think more. Not on the Mount Rushmore yet, but he's getting there. He's getting there, and he still has so far to go, man. Like who knows what he's going to do with the rest of his career? What is he, like 33?
Yeah,
like
But as we've seen with Khabib, sometimes it's like he might walk away. He might get one more and walk away.
He has said when he loses the motivation, he will retire that day.
Yeah. I think he has quite a few left, right? It's not a Khabib situation where his mom was just like, I don't want you doing this anymore. There's a lot of money to be made for Islam. There's a lot of fights left. I think he'll go down as one of the best evers. I already have him as the best lightweight.
Yeah, I think I actually agree with you on that. His resume really is unbelievable. And then he asked, would Usman be a top 5 lightweight in the UFC right now? Man, lightweight,
what does the 5 look like?
Lightweight is so stacked. See, like this is the top 5 according to the rankings, but like we can also go through the guys that are in there. Islam is obviously champ.
Yep.
Arman 1, Charles 2, Gaethje 3, Poirier 4, Holloway 5, Hooker 6, Chandler 7, Gamrot 8, Dariush 9, Moicano 10.
I can't say definitively he's top 5. I wouldn't be surprised. The problem every time we do this kind of exercise is the level of competition that he's faced just isn't there. It's hard to make the comparison.
We just don't know the conversion. I need to see him against like a Gamrot.
That's what
does he look like against Gamrot? Let's have that.
I mean, we talked about this earlier when we had Pete on talking about like AJ McKee would have been a top 10 lightweight. We don't know. We really
don't know. Like if he fought Arman tomorrow, I'm favoring Arman.
Yeah. Me too.
Just based on who they've fought.
But also, would it shock you, though, if it was like, oh, shit, he actually, like, he's the best guy?
I don't think it shocked me just because he's an undefeated Nurmagomedov.
Exactly.
He trains with some of the best guys in the world. So, like, but I just don't know.
What I'd love to hear is, like, you know, when Islam and Usman are, you know, at it at the gym, who's the big dog?
Or does he come over to the UFC and then they end up fighting?
Yeah, they'll never fight. They will never
Dream
fight.
Khabib comes back, Islam Khabib. Then we could just get all the answers.
Islam versus Khabib? Never.
It'd be great. It'd be great. It'd be scenes. It would be scenes. Something bad would have to happen, though. Chris Martin, absolutely hammering GC plus 350. Thank you, brother. Put the retirement on that. Go ahead and put the retirement.
Was that the line that Feldman had?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It actually, I think it may have ballooned even more in favor of Brady. 24-inch dubs. Hoopa Gyros rule.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, 24-inch dubs. Dave Sandine, another $2, says grape or strawberry jam on the PB&J. I'm going strawberry.
I'll go strawberry as well.
Grape's good. Strawberry's good. Random raspberry thrown in there. Maybe a little cherry.
As long as it's like a sweet berry, I'm in.
Don't bring around like the apricot marmalade shit, though. I'm gonna pass on that.
It's lower on my list, but I'll probably still eat it.
Ugh. I don't need to see orange. It needs to be a darker color in there. Mr. Silent, he says chopped cheese with everything, classic. I do respect a good chopped cheese. I did not have chopped cheese until I moved to New York. Late night, whenever, you get a good chopped cheese. It's basically like New York's take on the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. It's amazing. Benjamin Turk, $4.99. Shout out, brother. He said, "What is up, boys? What is the right age for a colonoscopy?" I think it's like once you get to your 50s.
Wasn't it 40s?
When the doctor demands it. The reason we've been bringing this up, I feel like Ariel has mentioned that he wants to get one. He just hasn't got one.
45.
45. Okay. So yeah, I guess Ariel's coming up on that. I'm down to just do it as a team effort. We all just go and get one.
At the same time, we're just lined up there.
Yeah, man. We all do the clean out together. That would actually be great content. We try to do a show the day before the colonoscopy while we're all doing the clean outs and drinking the magic juice that makes you just blow it all out. And we all try to get through a show. And it's just like Ariel's like, oh God, runs off.
This is a disaster of an idea.
And then he like, throw the boys in the back, throw the boys.
And we're gone.
2 empty chairs. He can't even throw to the back. We're all just doing the show via Zoom, sitting on the toilet.
And because Frank missed the memo on us all doing this, he's the only one back there, and he hosts the show for 4 hours.
Yeah, that'd be good times. Yeah, so maybe in the down months of MMA. Maybe that's how we fill the holidays next year. We all do a colonoscopy and we try to get through the show.
You're more than 10 years off from required screening age.
Be a nice, you know.
You guys are rookies. You've already gotten it. It's a lot of fun.
A little bit of worry off the brain if the guy's like, colon's never looked better. I'm pretty sure my colon's never looked better. I'm slamming fiber every night. Shout out to the psyllium husks. Get you through the day. Elijah Dream. $5 Canadian. Appreciate you as always, Elijah Wan. Actually, he sent 2. He said one earlier that I forgot to get. He said Winnipeg Jets jersey next week, GC. Dale Howardchuk. Dale Howardchuk, Jets legend. But yeah, it's Thrashers till I die. I couldn't get on the Winnipeg bandwagon as much success as they're having. The Atlanta Thrashers became the Winnipeg Jets.
Got it.
We learned today that Rick...
It's like Ariel with the Blue Jays. He cannot...
Exactly.
No,
with the
Nationals, Washington Nationals.
We learned today Rick is absolutely clueless when it comes to hockey.
I've got 0.
Never been to an NHL game, which blows my mind. We have to go.
Yeah.
I have it on my 2025 bingo list to go to a Rangers game. We should go together because they're amazing in person. It's similar to BKFC. Everyone's like, you got to go. It's going to be amazing. Hockey is the same way. He could name 3 active players. Ovechkin, Crosby, and McDavid.
To my surprise, they were still active. I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, I think these guys are active. These are the 3 I know. Yeah. And they were. So
I'm not going to feign being a diehard hockey fan, but I enjoy it, especially in the playoffs, and I love it. I love it live. Elijah Dream, $5 Canadian. 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins, released 29 years ago today. What are y'all's favorite 90s jam bands? Pumpkins, number 1 for me. Jimmy Chamberlain, GOAT drummer. This one is written for Frank.
I'm out of my depths here, so we need Frank.
Rick has, while he knows nothing about hockey, he has literally never listened to music before as well. He can't.
I took it to his first.
He can't name a single song. He was like, "What's the one? It's my daughter was born 3 years ago today. What's the song called?" I was like, "Happy Birthday." He's like, "Yes, that's the one." He's a nut. But yeah, Frank, this feels like it's written for you.
Just in response to Elijah Dream off the bat, earlier I was like, mustard this, mustard that, but the best Smashing Pumpkins song of all time is actually called Mayonnaise. So I feel like that should be mentioned.
Okay.
He was saying Jimmy Chamberlain is the GOAT.
Is he?
There could be a case made for that. I used to get these arguments all the time. I actually believe it's Danny Carey from Tool is the GOAT, and Jimmy Chamberlain would be right under him.
Who's the guy from Rush?
That is Neil Peart.
Neil Peart.
However, it's the top 5 90s bands. Already mentioned them, but it would be Tool, Radiohead, Pearl Jam, Nine Inch Nails, and then let's just mix it up a little. Caius, really good band. Faith No More. We're going over 5. Damn, sorry.
REM.
No, I mean there's a couple good albums, but
I feel like Andy vibes.
It's actually REM predates the 90s, so I wouldn't really consider them a 90s.
I really just shouted out REM because they are from
New York City,
Athens, Georgia.
Really?
Yeah, baby. Go Dogs.
Damn.
Yeah, they play a lot of REM in Athens. That's really why I mentioned it. You said Nirvana?
They're in the list.
Is Red Hot Chili Peppers 90s?
I would call that 90s.
Yeah. Soundgarden?
Are you reading a Wikipedia? But yes, that's also 90s. Yeah. Oh, late 80s as well.
Nice.
And they're from?
New York City.
Seattle, Washington.
We all knew it.
I feel like Andy vibes on the music with you whenever we're pre-show and things like this.
She's
what is
big
Andy...
into Finnish rock. It's amazing.
Does she support your list? What is her reaction to your list?
I mean,
it was good.
Yeah, she said
okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Andy
we agree.
approves.
We agree.
Is Oasis 90s rock?
Yeah.
Okay, and Oasis is up there for me as well. Yeah, that was actually a great question by Elijah One Dream, always supplying good ones. All right, I think we got through all the super chats, unless
Actually,
I'm mistaken.
there is one more.
Oh, let's hear it, brother.
No.
Sleeto writes in $1.99. Rick, what is your beef with the harp sound?
I hate that. See, here's the problem here. I hate that sound so much, and now that I hate it, the people are recognizing that it's triggering me, and they are getting like they're focused in on that.
You can't even talk. This is how upset you are.
I do not like that sound, and I'm not saying that from like a it like bothers my ears perspective. It just sounds so stupid to me. Like it is a stupid sound that I do not want to hear anymore. And now naturally it will become part of the show lore, and I will have to be suffering through that.
Does it just like upset your gout or something? Is that what it is?
This is just how he feels about music in general.
He's like, what is this? What is this sound?
Andy with a zinger there. My musical taste has been called into question. Maybe not my taste, but yes, for the umpteenth time that I've explained this, maybe worth diving into. I don't have any music on my computer or my phone. I don't have like MP3s. I don't listen to music.
Have you ever bought an album? Like
yeah.
media?
Okay, so up until podcasts existed, I had tons of albums. Like I would go to Tower, or I would go to like FYE or any of like the music stores.
Yeah.
I'd line up, I'd get albums. I had my Discman. I liked them. I'm one of those people who played out the same song a million times. Like it would be very repetitive for me. And I just kind of like at a certain point lost my like passion for like finding new things and doing this and that. I felt like I was almost kind of like a little bit lost. There was too much music. And then podcast came out. I started getting into them. It became the thing. And now I just like don't have music. Now,
do you listen to podcasts about music?
I would. I would.
Like, you traded in.
I would rather
was lost,
listen
but
to a
now
podcast about music than music. Now, definitively, important to note, because this always comes up. I do not dislike music. I do not hate music.
Sounds like someone who hates music.
I just do not look for music. There is music everywhere. It is impossible for me to not hear music. When I hear the music, I like the music. In fact, I'd say my bar for music is quite low. I like everything. When I hear it,
except for
that's not music. That's a stupid little drop that I hate. But when I hear music, I like it. But I do not seek music. I'd rather listen to a podcast.
Wait,
definitively, for the record.
So when you go to karaoke,
I'll
what
sing.
do you sing? What do you sing though?
He sings
a harp sound.
podcasts. He sings the latest episode of the podcast.
Yeah, back in your life.
I redo Ariel's interviews at karaoke. No, so I have a musical knowledge because, like, as you can imagine, no, I don't mean like.
I thought you meant like musical intelligence.
No, I'm probably tone deaf. I have a musical knowledge because there's enough music that just becomes like super popular, right? If there's a hit song, most of the time I've heard it 10 times because I've walked into a store that's playing it or somebody's played it.
APT by Bruno Mars right now?
I've heard that before.
Yeah, shout out.
So I have a knowledge, and also in the 90s and the early 2000s, I was listening to tons of music, and so I have knowledge of a lot of those songs. My default stance in karaoke is a lot of the times I'm the duet person. I'm the one who, like, two people wanted to do a song, and then one got nervous and stage fright and dropped out. I'll grab the mic and sing anything because I don't care, because I know I sound like shit. I'm not, like, I don't really have an ego about it. So I'll just do, anytime somebody wants to sing with anybody else, I'm in. I'll sing with you. I'll do a song. Or if somebody's like leaving the mic there and nobody's singing, I'll sing that too because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do not give a shit. I'm terrible at singing. Yeah. I'm down for the duets. We actually got a couple more super chats here.
No, wait. You have a good voice though, and you kind of play with it sometimes.
I mean, people have said I'm the voice of my generation.
He's like,
who am I to say that? Who am I to say that?
I'm shit. I have a bad voice, and then he's just like harmful in this bullshit.
Toon Joe gave us €2, pounds. I'm not fluent in the currencies. Frank, have you seen Nosferatu yet? Eggers is back, baby.
Wait, Eggers left? Eggers never left.
I think everyone on the team saw Nosferatu except for me.
I didn't. We're talking about the new one, right?
Yeah, of course, not the
seen the new one.
Doesn't everyone just have sex with the vampire?
I mean,
first spoiler
Twilight.
warning. Second,
you're confusing the two. Common mistake.
First spoiler warning. Two, not everyone. It's not like an orgy.
Most people have sex with the vampire.
This defines all movies that were released last year.
Nosferatu is quite good. I would describe it. I really enjoyed it. Eggers never left. Eggers was this film looks incredible. He's a great director. Maybe like too married to the source material because it was a love letter to it, and I would have liked to see something a little grittier, a little raunchier, a little more raw. But visually stunning, and loved it.
I don't know if I can read this. Or not.
Okay, don't read it then.
P. Sandu says Nosferatu got that blank on him. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. And then last two here, Benjamin Turk, 199. Thank you, brother. He says Corey just called out O'Malley.
Corey Sanhagen?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Oh,
fight.
hell yeah.
Down for that fight. And then B. Sandu 3.
I will say though, if O'Malley doesn't fight Merab, I'd rather see him fight Jan.
Yeah.
Jan's the one.
Both those. B. Sandu 3, 279 Canadian, very specific. He said, bro said Jan got best grappling in light heavyweight. Is he wrong? Is bro just like your friend? Did we say that? I don't even remember.
Jan has the best grappling at light heavyweight?
If that's true, then Poatan already got through that, so he should have no issue with Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah, I don't recall saying that.
Yeah. Ant also asked if that's your only hoodie you own. Is that a Chubby's hoodie, by the way?
How do you know that?
I know Ball. I wouldn't wear it, but I do know Ball.
American Giant or go home.
Like the black T-shirts, I have several of the same black hoodie from Chubby's.
Oh,
shout out to, by the way,
someone in the chat actually was just like, no, he just owns 8 of those.
That's correct. It's like 3, 4.
Actually, Chubby's is like the antithesis of you.
What is I see? This is the thing. I didn't know what Chubby's was. I just found that
Chubby's is like loud short shorts. Like
that's why the
pattern
color
in the hood is like just what short shorts you would be wearing.
I was at a shopping mall, like a strip mall, and not a strip mall. What's the word I'm trying to say? It was like a mall, but like one of the outdoor ones. What do they call that?
A strip mall.
A strip mall.
But strip mall. I think of like you go and it's like the
outlet?
pizzeria. It was like an outlet. It was like an outlet mall, and I needed new black hoodies. And I found this and saw Chubby's and got it. But I wasn't aware of the brand at all. Shout out to Chubby's.
Yeah. Shout out to Chubby's.
I got a few of these.
It is literally the exact opposite of you. John Godfrey says he loved The Brutalist. Rewatching it tonight. It's showing at my local
I haven't
theater.
seen it yet, but I want to see it.
Going to see it. Yeah, a lot of Oscar buzz. You know, that's what they say around the good movies. A lot of Oscar buzz. So shout out to him. And I think that might do it. 2 hours and 20 minutes in the can. I was like, I told the wife and kids back at home, I was like, I'll see you in 45 minutes. We're just going to hit a little KnuckleMania, hit a little PFL, and be out of here. But, you know, things change. Things change.
We'd give the people what they want.
All right.
KnuckleMania, I'm excited.
I got nothing else.
I think you mentioned
KnuckleMania. Philly, can't wait. Getting in early, going to run the steps, going to get some cheesesteaks, high five Rocky. It's going to be a good time. Eagles playing in the NFC Championship the day after. Shit's hot in Philly.
Yeah.
Shit is hot in Philly.
Jeremy Stevens, Eddie Alvarez. Which do you think the Philadelphia faithful are more invested in? The Eddie Alvarez win or the Eagles win?
Oh, Eddie Alvarez, no doubt.
Yeah, me too.
Eddie Alvarez, no doubt about it, man. Yeah, it should be a great fight. It should be a great atmosphere out there. It's going to be loud in Wells Fargo.
If you've got tickets for KnuckleMania and the Eagles, that could actually be a really sick weekend.
At that point, you just got to say, bon voyage, you just let the party go.
You keep drinking.
You let the Yinglings take you wherever they may take you. Last night, we let the Yingling talk, baby. The eagle was whispering in my ear. And then you just wake up Monday morning and just figure out what happened.
Okay, should we do that?
If someone buys my NFC Championship ticket, because I looked and they're like $800, and I'm not an Eagles fan, so that's that. John Olive, GC, can I get a shout out? You sure can, Johnny. Shout out Johnny Olives. Yahoo Finance is going to come in with a cease and desist. They're going to be like, who the fuck is Johnny Olives? GC, you're the GOAT for the Switch recommendations. Nick, Ligel Van Efson, Mario Odyssey, and All-Stars. Shout out Mario Odyssey. Shout out to the Switch too. Shout out to all you for listening.
Whoa.
This is like the longest we've ever gone with this intro music.
But I've never heard this switch in this
Do you usually just cut it when we're done talking? Because we're done talking. Thanks for listening. See you next week. FC Saudi.